2 minutes. 2 minutes. Hello, everyone. I hope you can hear me. I assume you can. I'm going to give this 3 more minutes and let everybody get signed in. I'm really, really excited to be here. And I'm not going to say anything else for 2 more minutes. So 8:03 will start for everybody who's stuck in traffic. One minute. I see everybody signing in. Y'all, I'm really excited to be here. We've got 229 watching already, so we'll give it just 1 more minute so nobody feels like they missed anything. And thank you all for being here. I can't say that enough. It's really amazing to see all the places across the world people signing in. Like Johns Creek, Georgia. We've got a bunch of Australians watching too. This is really neat, guys. It's great to see everybody saying hello. Thank you. I'm just going to wait another minute. 8:05, we'll get this thing started. I've been waiting for days to talk to you guys.
Brian, we got Kansas City, San Francisco, Destin, Florida, Alberta, Canada.
Hey, Buckhead.
Buckhead. Toronto. Texas. All across America, man.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Brian Beegle. You probably know that already. Thank you very, very much for joining tonight. I'd like to start by saying to the people in Ukraine watching, to the people from Ukraine, all of our hearts are with you. Together, tonight, this group and those who will be watching this tomorrow, every single person that donated, our hearts are with you. And it makes me very proud to be a part of that. Secondly, to casting networks for sharing this across the world. We have to find ways to come together, even though we're so far apart in this remote digital world. And you help do that. Thank you. To all the agents who made this possible and pushed their talent to sign up. Thank you. You know who you are. The talent knows who you are too. Thank you. And most importantly, to everyone who is a part of this, you have now given yourself to this. So let's have some fun. Let's be here together now for Ukraine. I have a lot of notes here, and they're in no particular order, which is kind of fun. It keeps you paying attention because you never know what's next. Follow along with me, and I will say at the very end of the class, we'll make an announcement, maybe where we stand with totals, but we have so much money still coming in. We're going to break 1,000 donations for this. So we will update the YouTube later. And as soon as we can finish totaling this, and we will let you guys know what we've done.
It'll be in the description, Brian.
Thank you, Rowan. Rowan here is my brain behind the scene. He will make sure everything adds up. Good luck, Rowan. All right, here we go. This is why we're here. Let's learn for a good cause. First note is take no notes. Sit back, absorb this. Don't write. Don't divide your attention. Enjoy and do nothing. Go ahead, mute your phone, whatever you need to do. But seriously, just get rid of it. I promise you, I made the dogs bark doing that, but it was fun. I'll talk more about imperfection in casting later too. But I promise you, if you do nothing and you enjoy it, and we apply that to your auditions when you're listening and taking direction, I'm going to tie this all together. You'll have fantastic auditions. Tonight, don't divide your attention, so don't make notes. In fact, after this class, if someone wants to translate this, if someone wants to put this and put the subtext below, please do. I intend for this to be shared over and over, for you to use this in your classes, for you to use me, and to have a lot of fun with this. So thank you. The first thing that I've learned in this is I actually tried to write you all back. 500. I got to around over 500 of you. You know who you are. Yes, that was me misspelling your names and retyping donating again over and over a million times. But I actually learned something from it. So I answered as many emails, and sorry if I didn't, all right? But I answered as many emails as I can, and I saw your little tiny pictures on Gmail, and it was interesting. A lot of people did not have their picture on Gmail, and I thought, every time I saw you, oh, there's Janice Chester. Oh, I know this person. It's funny because I would see them and I would feel them for a second, to the point where I think in your email signatures, you should have a small picture of yourself beyond the Google picture that I can't really see you, but I know that's you. When you have to be careful with this, because if you're sending somebody an email 100 times a day and they know you, you don't need to include a picture of yourself. If you're an actor, if you're sending your Gmail to a casting director or decision maker or someone in the industry you want them to know, here's why you should do it and what I learned. Brenda sent a quick picture last night, and as I was replying, I saw her quick picture. Only a couple people did it. None of you did anything wrong. There are no mistakes in this workshop. I'm going to arm you with stuff for the future. Brenda sent a quick picture of herself, and I wrote her name down. I went, I'm going to mention Brenda tomorrow. Okay? Today, when I went to see her name, before I saw her name, I went, Brenda. It wasn't because I wrote it down. It was because I'd seen her picture. One of the biggest things I will teach you tonight is, as soon as you put a picture with any word or thing you're trying to say, it will become meaningful to you. Brenda, you are meaningful to me. So I saw your face. I know who you are, and it's exciting. So if you guys want to include, back in old days on our headshots, we used to have a second look maybe on the back of our corner of our resume. And it was kind of neat because if you had a different look or had a beard or different hair, you could show that second look. I don't think we have to go that far with this picture, but I do ask this picture not be annoying or over the top. Are you trying to be dramatic? I think this picture should graciously exist. It means it's a picture of you almost thanking someone for reading their email, for taking the time to look you in the face and see who you are. And again, you don't have to put it on every email, but I think if it's to somebody you don't know, I know Brenda now, and I went through 500 emails. I saw some really neat stories and things that y'all wrote me, but it only took that long to me to remember her forever, or at least until I don't. But I have a bit of a trap in my mind, so I'll remember you. Okay. Let's talk about casting. Casting is beautiful. For those of you in this class, it does not matter what level you are. Tonight, I hope to inspire, inform, change the game, give you some tips. I'll point out some things you had no idea that you were doing. But casting, to me, I want to tell you the story of what that means. Casting is beautiful. And what I mean by that, and I've had most of the time, I don't have this much time to think about it. I have a casting director has the wonderful position of being right in between everything. So it starts in the beginning when a director and a writer get me on the phone or in the Zoom and they go, this is what we're making. Look at our story. I read it. I listen to them talk. I ask questions. I get the tone and the timing of their project. No matter what it is, a commercial or film, music, video, industrial, it doesn't matter. They're all the same. I'll teach that tonight. It's all the same. And then all of a sudden, they've armed me with this information. It is my job to take that information and to get it to actors. In the old days now, you used to come in. It was so much fun, right? I could see you guys, just so you know, in commercial casting, 500 people in a week. Through those doors, easily. It was like a game show, and I was the host. I was thinking about it. I had control of this environment, the camera, all these things. You guys went through like this, and it was a lot of fun for me. Now the game has changed. We will get back to some in-person casting, but now it's different for a lot of reasons. I used to be able to schedule 77 people if it was a speaking role in a day. Now I can send it to your agents and trust your agents even more to push you and to say, give this person a shot, or to even see your profile on casting networks and go, I'll give them a shot. It only takes me another self-tape to watch. So that means I can see 300 people, 400 people for the same roles. Okay, so you're going, great, I'm a great actor. Well, great actors rise to the top, even with those numbers. So I will help you figure that equation out, how to do all that. Casting has changed. Casting, right, I'm sending these breakdowns out and everybody's submitting tapes. But the second part that I love about casting, I've talked to the director and the writer, and now it's time for me to send you direction. So now I'm even pre-recording myself going, hey guys, I'm Brian Beegle. I'm the casting director. Here's your direction for today. It's a way to connect with you. A lot of times I don't have time to do that, so I will write a very thorough direction. And I love doing that because an actor will take this self-tape and read it, and that's your number two job now, other than acting, is reading. You guys have to read information. It's better than driving and burning up gas. It's just reading information to arm yourself. When you do that, when I get to send you that direction and you interpret it, then I watch your tapes. I get to see who you are. I get to see how you interpret the direction. And it's so much fun. Now, I lose the ability to redirect you initially, right? I mean, in the original casting, if it was in person, I would go, great, do it again and do it like this. But I still get to direct you in callbacks. One of the biggest things I want to talk about tonight is what directors want. I've listened to thousands of directors over the years, and I've absorbed them, and it's so amazing just to hear what happens when an actor or director talks to an actor, and to see the translation and how an actor perceives it and back and forth. I've been in the middle of that for years. So if we do casting right, and the reason that it's beautiful to me, I take a director's writer, a writer's vision and director's vision. I give out this great direction for all the roles, and all of a sudden it comes to life for the actor, for the director, for me. And then for casting, I get to step away like I was never there. So I'm a medium that allows you to get to the director. And it's so exciting for me to see, and I could go on with that forever, but y'all see how much it means to me. Tonight, I usually start a class with a word. And tonight I'll use the word directors. It's a word. And the thing is, directors, I will talk mainly tonight in the point of view of what directors want. Okay. And the reason I can speak for directors is I've listened to them so long that I think they'd be comfortable with what I'm going to tell you, because everything I will say tonight will make a director's job easier. As an actor, when you make a director's job easy, I promise they want to work with you. Okay. So casting is beautiful. Now I can see 300 people for a role. I can see so much more. I can reach further. People will travel. You'll never miss a callback because you can be on set somewhere and I can get you on a break, get you in and out of a Zoom. So it's exciting. We have to learn to use these as a weapon. What do directors want in auditions from you? Number one, don't make directors wait. Never call cut. I'm just going to read through this real quick. I'm going to go over it. Don't force a director or casting director to stop. Your job is to keep going even when takes go wrong. Don't be a needy actor. It used to be, can I use your printer? Actors would say, come in. They would come in and say, can I use your printer? But now they come in and start asking questions or start messing with the camera or doing things. And it keeps us from moving into what we need to do and makes a casting director or director work harder. Don't be an overbearing parent when a director is talking to your child or is acting. Parents, we all have an inner parent. We all have an inner parent in us. All right. So actors, when I say parents, I mean your inner parent as well. Parents, when I say parents, I mean moms. All right. I'll go ahead and say this. Pageants are for perfection. Oh my gosh. Pageants are for perfection, parents. Acting is not. All right. Pageants are for perfection. Acting is not, parents. All right. I'll explain that later. But you have to prove they don't need you. Okay. So, parents, that means you set up your child, you let them go and let them succeed or fail and make sure they had fun, and they'll do it again and they will succeed eventually. People that book have a quiet, graceful confidence and listen very well. I see something huge now when directors are talking that I didn't used to see. When the director is talking to you and you are taking direction, I would like you to do something. Nothing. Actors have the need to want to know how things are going to go. You don't need to know how takes will go. In fact, if you don't know how the take will go, it will be alive. As soon as you memorize how it's going to go, it won't be. I'm not going to just talk the whole time. I'm going to show you some tricks and games to prove these things, okay? But what I see when people are listening to directors, the director will start saying, yeah, and on this, I want you to turn to the right in your next take and you'll be digging a hole, and then Simon will show up and you'll start doing the thing while they're giving the direction. When a director is directing, just don't do anything. Listen. You only have one real job at the end of a director's direction. It is ask questions only if you have them. Only if you have them. A lot of people like to reiterate a director's direction. So they'll say, so when I do this, you want me to do that? And they will always say the same thing. Yeah, because that's your interpretation of it. But that's for you internally. So unless you have a question, let your interpretation of the direction play out during the take, not before. So before a director calls action, don't do anything. It's harder on Zoom now too, because a lot of directors, they like to call action. Some don't. Some talk while we're rolling. So you must, as an actor, develop trust. The way to do that is listen to directors. You'll know when they'll call action. I can see some actors will wait eventually because the director will forget and the director will go, oh, sorry, action. But if you jump a director's action, he can't call action. He or she can't call action. So that means as soon as you're they're already missing moments, right? I'll talk about the moment before, the moment after. You guys, I'm going to cover a lot of ground in this class because it's for everyone. So no matter what level you are, please don't let this be intimidating, or if it's boring to you, I hope you stick with it because I promise I got a lot of wacky stuff here. Okay. Just want to show you what I mean first, because directors are the ultimate decision makers. Studios trust the director to make the right call. Commercial, they trust the director to make the right call. They hire the director. The brand hires the director and the production company and the ad agency. But then the trust is there to make it great. And that's what directors do. So what I will teach tonight, again, is based on what I have witnessed actors and directors in this two-way that happens with them. Okay. All right. Here's some fun things. All right. that are different than the way you may think of acting. Never attempt to do the same thing twice. I can see actors, I'll see 100 in a day and read with 100. And you know how many times I will actively read the exact same way? 0. I'm alive on each take. As the casting director, I think it's kind of fun to act, and it's not required by us, but it keeps me from ever canning a performance for you. And you should never, ever try to do the same thing again. First of all, it's impossible. Secondly, like never plan beats, never plan when you're going to do something, because it imprints memories. And when the director asks you to do something else, those memories will appear in flashes, like The Matrix or Total Recall, 2 weeks, right? All of a sudden, you've noticed something is off. We notice something is off too, because you imprinted what was supposed to happen instead of listening, waiting, and doing what the director gave you to do next, which you won't know how it's going to feel or come out of your mouth. But when we plan beats, I can see it's just like when a parent gets their child to rehearse a slate and they go, I'm Brian Beegle, 5'8" from Atlanta, Georgia. This is not a pageant. You guys should not rehearse your slates. Parents, every casting director wants a different slate. So when I get them to just slate name and age, they have a hard time doing it because you made them memorize their slate. Adults, same thing, never memorize a slate. We'll always tell you what we'd like you to say, okay? People add things on their slates. They will add that they're fully vaccinated or local hire. If it doesn't say those things, never add anything to an audition that we haven't asked for, okay? Okay, back to doing things twice. All right. There will be a weird ticker moment in your performance because you told your mind what to do, even though the tank is different. So I'd like to ask you as actors to free yourself, and I'll show you. You're like, Brian, we got to memorize our lines. Tonight, I'm going to prove that you will not have to memorize lines. It is so much more fun to understand the scene around you, to mean what you say, and then to be able to change it a little bit every time that you do it. That is a much easier way to act than to know what you have to say. So I hope to free that for you guys. I hope to give you that freedom from memorization. That's one of the fun things, all right? Watch your audition. If it's a commercial and you're doing something and talking at the same time, ask yourself, is what I'm saying, does what I'm saying sound or seem more important than what I'm doing? If yes, then it's wrong. Because usually what you're saying is about what you're doing. And that means the conversation is secondary. Hold on. The lines are a result of what is happening. So your environment defines the read, not the lines. Instead, actors want to do this. When I go to the bank is always there for me. But if we were alive in our environment and you were in the bank, because a lot of times it won't tell you the moment before. But what's more unbelievable, what I did just there, or when I'm just for 1 second with the moment before talking to the teller, and then I see you seeing me. I mean, the moment I go to the bank, that's about the bank. And I don't want to act for you guys. I'm going to bring in an amazing actor for you guys to do, so you to see some of this in just a little bit, okay? It's going to be really fun. But I watch as people are making a sandwich. The best thing, use this trick in class, okay? I do it 2 ways. I actually get people to take 2 cups of water. One is empty, one is half full, and I'll have them pour the water, all right? When they pour the water, they have to pay attention to it, okay? So when they do that, they're paying attention to the water, and then all of a sudden their lines are while they're doing what they're doing. Because this could be anything. I could be working on a car. I could be a surgeon. I could be cutting a fish. The thing is, as soon as I make this more meaningful, because it's what I'm talking about, I'm sharing with you what I'm talking about. But actors will come straight to camera and forget about the thing that is actually this whole thing is about, the product. You are not the star of commercials, guys. The product is. So that means every commercial has a roadmap of what is this? Why is this person watching? What am I doing with it? And this is why you probably want to use it. But I love scripts because if you look at scripts, they're a story. I don't make commercials. I tell stories every day and I use my imagination. And that is what an actor's art is. Okay. You guys have to learn learn to use your imagination, not memorize how it's going to go. And I hopefully will help you free up some of that. Okay. That notion, I'll make it freer for you. All right. I watch a ton of great auditions. That means you may not book, but you may have been awesome. So reward yourself for great auditions, not for booking. Ask yourself, did I believe myself in this audition? Watch it. Okay. Joy in acting must come from what you create with your imagination. Now more than ever. You don't get to be in the room. You don't get to go see the casting director, but we see you. And the art of acting is just the same. In fact, I'm going to argue that it's easier. You can do this from anywhere. I'm in my laundry room right now. It's super fancy. I've been here for 2 years and it works. You guys can shoot an audition anywhere. So we have to embrace that. Okay. And I want to just let you know, a lot of y'all have auditioned for me and I see you're signed in here tonight. And I'm telling you tonight, it doesn't matter if you book. If you love what you're doing, keep doing it. Okay. Yes, you want to book. Yes, you want that affirmation, but the affirmation should be, did I believe myself? Was this fun? Do I want to do it again? It will lead to booking. Not, am I booking? What am I doing wrong? All these things. I'm going to help you erase some of those things tonight. Okay. Reading information is now one of your most important tasks as an actor. And I know you get a lot of different requests for how to shoot and you name your tapes. I've said a little bit about that. Don't say things we don't ask for. In general, don't do more than what is asked of you. This should be helpful because I see a lot of this in self-tapes now. Don't add things, including title cards, no labels on your takes, no split screen slates. Earlier, I talked about not doing something else while you're watching this, not writing and dividing your attention so you catch the next thing I say. If you do a split screen slate, I've watched directors do this too. I'm hearing half of you and seeing half of you, but I am taking in neither. So it's interesting. People are spending money putting their agent and take one and all these things. I'm aware it's take one. I'm aware of the role. I know who your agent was because I already found you. But people are adding things to slates and adding things to their tapes. Self-tape should be super simple. You guys, I've watched somebody lock themselves out of their house, had to shoot a call back from their car. It didn't bother them because it happened. They said, they actually wrote their agent, locked out, tell them. So they did. Their agent told me, and I said, no big deal. The actor didn't make a big deal of it, because it was just what was happening, and neither did we. The director didn't care. In fact, the director thought it was kind of cool because they're like, oh, they're locked down. Yeah, do what you can. Help them out, Brian. Okay. Right? And so the person booked the role. You don't need perfection in auditions. No. Your imagination is what matters most. None of that has changed. To get trust, to have trust with the director, you have to make sure that they can feel like one of those Armatron games that comes in and picks you up and then takes you and then drops you on the set. Well, that was fun to watch. So you know what I mean? You don't need the other actors around you. You don't need the casting director. You don't need all these things. You're in your laundry room imagining the role. I tape people every once in a while. I don't have time too much anymore, but when I do, and I've taped some kids for some huge roles, some lead roles and things that are coming out, and it's really exciting. One of the biggest ones, this little girl had this scene where she played a bad guy, and she's on top of a building, and she's standing over, and she's making the good people levitate, and their friends are down here, and she's 30 stories up, and she can drop them. All right? And she was in, I'm sure, her laundry room or wherever, but I had her, and this is my favorite trick in acting, I had her close her eyes. And I said, go ahead, you guys. Everyone watching this right now, help me out. Close your eyes. Go ahead. Everyone close your eyes. If you're sitting, then scoot forward just a little bit with your eyes closed and then look down. 30 stories below you. Do you see it? Look. Oh, don't get too close to the edge. Keep your eyes closed. Now, 30 stories down. Do you see the good guys down there on the ground? Yep, they're your enemies. Now look straight out with your eyes closed. Do you see the other people levitating that you're levitating? And now you can throw them to the ground if you want. Open your eyes. That is the art of using your imagination for acting. You could do that in a play, a TV, film, commercial, anything. I know y'all all saw that, and you each saw something different, which is one of the biggest things that I believe in that there's only one of you in the world. No one will ever be you. One of the things I think in the Casting Network's interview, they asked me about President Zelensky. And I said, I don't think he became that role. I think that role became him, and he became president because everyone loved him, because that's who he was. You won't become a role. A role will become you because you will see it differently than anyone else will if you take the time to see it. The eyes closed game and pouring water. You watch next time you have a script and you're having trouble with your lines, pour some water instead, because now you don't care as much about your lines, and you'll actually just say your lines while you're focusing on the thing you mean to not mess up. And it's so much fun. You'll laugh at yourself. Okay? Really silly tricks, but they work very, very well. Acting and knowing your lines are only hard because it does not feel real or you don't believe yourself. Most importantly, the invisible environment around you. That's why we just did the eyes closed game. In a few minutes, in about 20 minutes, I'm going to bring Rowan up. And Rowan's an awesome actor here in Atlanta. I'm going to give him a script that he has not seen before. I'm going to put him on Le Spot, which is maybe French for the spot, probably not. And I'm going to give him a chance to have fun with the script. We're going to see how it goes. I could be wrong. I could be right. All right. You are acting on camera, not for camera. A lot of times a scene takes place without anyone around you. Don't act for camera. Act based on what is called for in the scene. Meaning, the camera doesn't exist most of the time, even when you're talking to it. In the last 2 years, how much time have you Zoomed? A little bit. Zooming is easy because when you look at the camera, just like I'm doing right now, you are thinking of the other person. I am thinking of all of you. I'm thinking of Brenda. I'm thinking of everybody who's watching this, that I saw your pictures. In commercials, and a lot of times when we talk to the camera, we talk to that cold, dead machine. It is not a cold, dead machine. It actually doesn't exist or think or judge at all. But it certainly makes us do things because we think it might or needs to. If you let go and actually do what is real and feels real in the scene, the camera will capture that. If you close your eyes because Gary doesn't exist and they say, when you're talking to Gary in this thing, and you close your eyes for 2 seconds, you will see Gary. You will see why Gary needs you to talk to him based on the lines, and then you will speak with him through the camera. The camera will disappear, but I see acting for camera a lot, right? And that's interesting to me because if the camera wasn't there, we wouldn't do that. So we have to find out what makes it real and how to make the camera disappear. Developing trust. Wearing disheveled clothing takes it away immediately. Guys, you can't wear a white t-shirt ever. All right? Ever. That's just the thing. You should now, if you've been an actor for a long time, you know how the history of preparing for an audition. Back in the day, you would have your headshots in your trunk and a shirt, and you'd be ready to go. Have your resume, and you show up with 2 headshots, okay? None of that is needed anymore. You don't need a full tank of gas. You don't need to drive anywhere. It's amazing. So now you could be right there, but that means dress the role. Never buy anything for a role. You have something that'll work. Never buy anything, okay, for auditions. But dress the role and be ready for it. I've actually had an actor, I'll say, go change your shirt. And they go change their shirt. I'm like, you need to make directors and casting directors not work hard, okay? So that's how we develop trust right off the bat. If a director sees that you're not dressed correctly for the product that you represent, again, you're not the star in a commercial, right? You are a prop. You're a talking prop. But if a director sees you don't represent that well, it only takes 1 second to lose that trust. Okay. And trust with directors is what we're trying to develop, whether it's listening and doing nothing or just seeing what happens and then you fail, but everybody laughs at you. There's trust there. Okay. Acting begins when effort ends. I can feel, hear, and see effort when people memorize how to say things. Hard lines are full of effort only because they lack meaning. You guys will see in Rowan's script tonight, it's about a deli called McAllister's. When I cast it, McAllister's was really hard to say for a lot of people. But I can make that really easier for you guys. As soon as you make meaning of McAllister's or even what it looks like, you can even close your eyes. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Everybody close your eyes. Look, you're at a deli, which is a restaurant. Look up at the sign with your eyes closed. It says McAllister's. You'll see what color it is. You'll see if it's neon. You'll see if one of the bulbs are out. Open your eyes again. You now know what McAllister's is. So it's much easier to say. Sometimes I have to do scenes in Spanish, and I'll cast Cox Communications in Florida. I'll cast their Spanish-speaking spots. And at first, it's a little bit hard to say, but as soon as I know why I'm saying and what I'm saying in the script, I can say Spanish words that I have no idea I'm actually saying it. And I'm saying them correctly because it's about what I'm talking about. I don't have to memorize them anymore. And I'm going to prove this in just a second, okay? A rehearsed slate makes me not really get to see you. You guys, a slate is the one chance that I get to see you. It's like you saying, thank you, I enjoyed that. Have a great day. You will not say any of that on your slate. You will not say, what's up? Or because you are. That's interesting. It starts to creep in. People will say, hey, what's up? I'm so-and-so. And I'm like, that's very casual. Also, you are up. So it's redundant. And if you guys catch yourself saying the same thing, like if say, how are you today? And you go, good. So yeah, like that's a rehearsed answer. So I would say be present on your slate, meaning it's like the casting director. If you were in person with me and you said, hey, Brian, and I said, slate. This is the difference in self-tapes and in person. In person, I would say slate, and you slate for me. On the casting tape, you slate for yourself. So instead of doing that, saying your name because you have to, please say your name because you know who the director or casting director is. You're proud of your work and they just watched it. Now it's not even about you anymore. It's you thanking them for taking part in it, right? So that is really important because you're not saying something because you have to anymore. You're saying it because you're thanking them and making sure they know your name, right? So never rehearse a slate. It's just not necessary. I just want to look back at this first page because that's a lot of pretty easy stuff. And I want to make sure I just didn't miss anything before we have a lot more fun with this, okay? There are two things that I see big time in self-tapes now. You guys, if you're listed on casting networks, and I'm just jumping around here because I'm super ADD, but if you're listed on casting networks, you can get auditions from them anywhere, right? That's the awesome thing about casting now. If something shoots in Atlanta and they need a Chinese girl, they'll cast all over them with casting networks or any kind of system they can find you. Actors Access, Breakdown Express. They're great because they extend the reach of the casting director and the client and the fact that a talent can be anywhere. I'm forgetting where I was going there. Rowan? Rowan was typing. We said that at the same time.
I'm clarifying the same question.
1 second. Let me think about what I was going to say with that.
You started talking about slates, and then you were talking. Actually, I'm the one talking about slates.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, I'll do that sometimes, guys. I will interrupt myself very, very quickly, and it happens. I know what I was going to say. Yes! The number one thing I still see with self-tapes is headroom. You guys love to give me a bunch of space up here. How much less of me did I just get? A lot. So, no headroom. You see that right there? You get one hand width. You can even cut off your hair sometimes when you're doing a little work on a scene. The director knows what you're doing, okay? But no headroom. And number B, never shoot up at yourself. Never, ever show me your ceiling fan. Because people will do that, and it shows immediately that you don't care enough to put your computer on top of a stool, on top of a storage container, on top of a table. That's what I built for y'all tonight. You can do it anywhere, right? You could tape your iPhone to the wall if you needed to, but always have it eye level and no headroom. You know, I was really lucky learning from Annette Stillwell. It was amazing. She's an amazing casting director. And I learned the very first time I ever ran camera, she goes, no headroom. Okay. And she goes, get rid. So it's funny because y'all want to give each other space. Even in your photos, in the wide shot, you give me like 2-3 feet above your head. I'm not interested in your wall. It doesn't matter. Okay. If you guys have questions, I think, and I meant to say this earlier, I think we wait till 2 hours in or 9 o'clock, and then you can rapid fire them away, and I'll try to answer as much as I can. Okay. So no headroom and don't shoot up at yourself in self-tapes. Other things don't have to be perfect. I don't care if parents, you don't have your tripod, okay? But you need to have your camera eye level. So just hold it for the kids. Hold it sideways with your iPhone. In your Zoom auditions, nothing is going to go perfect. You guys have to let go of perfection. Let go of trying to perfectly know the lines. On set, they're going to change the lines anyway, so you don't need to know them all the way. I think I've talked a lot for right now. Rowan's like, yeah, you have.
It's been awesome stuff.
Well, thank you, Rowan.
You're welcome.
You guys, I think we should bring Rowan in and have some fun with our actor. Rowan, is that okay? Are we ready?
Yeah, I'm finishing the response, and I am ready to go.
Y'all, I'm really proud to have, and you know, I know what I needed to do, but now I forgot that I'm going to remember right now, is that Frat Pat Productions has helped me do this, and Rowan Bosset is going to come up here, and I really appreciate him being here. There's zero chance I could have done all this with the technology required without Rowan and Frat Pack. So come on up, Rowan, and thank you very, very much. Y'all meet Rowan Bosset.
Hi, how are you?
And first thing we'll do is
adjust for headroom.
Yeah, that wasn't hard. You guys can do that easily. Rowan, before we talk or anything, I actually want to play a couple of games.
Okay, sure.
And you guys, this is one of my favorite things to do, just to like loosen up an acting class. And anyone can do this. It's a very simple game. It's called My Neighbor is Coming Over for Dinner. Okay? So Rowan is going to say that line. Go ahead and say that, Rowan.
My neighbor's coming over for dinner.
What did that mean to you right now, Rowan?
It was kind of just, I didn't think about it too much.
The answer, folks, is nothing.
It
meant nothing because it was a line. All right. Lines mean nothing without meaning. Meaning you shouldn't say a line with ever knowing why you said it. So now let's use the same line, but have a little bit more fun with the game. You're still going to say only that line to camera. My neighbor is coming over for dinner.
Okay.
You ready?
Yep.
And your neighbor is a serial killer and you just saw her kill something in the window.
My neighbor's coming over for dinner.
Your neighbor is this beautiful girl and you got one chance to make her a great dinner.
My neighbor's coming over for dinner.
Your neighbor is actually a lunatic and you can't stand him.
My neighbor's coming over for dinner.
Your neighbor stole your lawnmower and now's the night you're going to tell him about it.
My neighbor's coming over for dinner.
Your neighbor is blind and you have a lot of spiky things around your house and now you have to get rid of them and they're knocking on the door.
My neighbor's coming over for dinner.
You're right. That was very complicated. I agree. Good. You actually feel really sorry for your neighbor.
My neighbor's coming over for dinner.
Tonight is the night you give your neighbor strength.
My neighbor's coming over for dinner.
Tonight is the night you laugh the whole thing off because this was stupid.
My neighbor's coming over for dinner.
Look, you guys, the thing is, that's a silly game, but it provides a meaning to your line.
It's fun.
And it loosens people up. It also,
it's fun too.
The point is, don't ever know how things are going to go. Yeah, I didn't give him time to set up and think about his response. I only gave him time to process a millisecond and say what his instincts are, right? So you don't have to know how things are going to go in acting. Now, I want to go ahead and play a cold script game, if that's okay. So, Rowan, if you will, jump over there and grab that folder for me. You guys, Rowan has not seen this script. I'm really excited. This is going to hopefully show y'all, and I love this script very much, but it's going to show you guys you don't have to know a script at all to know it. You don't have to ever memorize a line, okay? And you also don't have to be perfect. There's no such thing as perfect. So let's learn from this. Here we go. Rowan, open your script. What does it say?
It says McAllister's Deli, full menu, club sandwich,
Perfect.
TV.
Okay, I just want to break this down I didn't want you to read too much, okay? Then it's not cold. It's not cold anymore. So I'm going to break this down just for everybody real quick, all right? First of all, just so you know, if you get a script like this and you don't know what McAllister's Deli looks like, I'm going to tell you, but always do your research so you immediately know what their product is like, right? So you don't have to do it right now because I'll tell you. McAllister's Deli is a deli, meaning a restaurant that has a ton of kinds of sandwiches and things to eat, and it has a menu up above. So it's almost like you're on a game show, and there's the menu kind of up above you, all right? That's actually all I want you to know, other than the fact that in a second, I'm going to read this script to you guys, and I want you to have your eyes closed. When you do, I want you to imagine you are the person in McAllister's. So this is about you. This is your experience. It will only work if your eyes are closed. So I told you where the menu is. That's where you're going to kind of see things with your eyes closed. And on action, if you're standing, you can even take a tiny step in with your eyes closed. But I'm going to read you what your story is. All right? Everyone closes their eyes. We take a tiny step in with our eyes closed. And we're in McAllister's. Keep them closed. Had a McAllister's Club last time. I know, I always get that, but I just love it so much. Maybe I should try something new. A spud. Just don't know if I'm in a spud mood. Maybe some soup. Yeah, tomato. That sounds good. But that woman over there just got a turkey melt, and she looks really happy. Like that kind of content with her life, at peace with everything happy. Maybe I'll get a Cobb club or a Cobb salad. Wow, maybe I'm in the mood for a Cobb. I guess I just like to say the word Cobb. Cobb. But what if I got a BLT? Oh, bacon. You know, it really makes me want a club again. Yeah, that's it. The McAllister's Club, please. Good choice. And the employee says, good choice. And for dessert? And you open your eyes. Everyone open your eyes now. Now, Rowan, can you tell me a little bit about what you saw, please, with your eyes closed?
Yeah, I saw the menu sprawled out. I saw the club as an option with a photo next to it. And then I saw the tomato soup as an option with a photo next to it and a little like sprig of green on top. I saw the woman sitting in the corner eating the salad.
Don't worry about it. Yeah.
Eating the salad. And then I came back to the menu and I saw the spud and the
all right.
Other
he's already proven point. And if you close your eyes, you know it too. You saw your own story happen. Now, let's make sense of this because this script is actually really interesting. So let's look at it together. Normally, I wouldn't do this with an actor, but we're going to do this together because we can. Okay? Let's look at the first line.
Am I allowed to read this?
Yes, I'll hand it over to you. So this is how you learn a script, guys. Ready? You read through it once for information. Close your eyes and have somebody else read the story so you see it. Here's the third time through. We're going to make sense of each line. Read each line one at a time and stop. So, read your first line.
Had a McAllister's Club last time.
What does that mean? It
means I've been here before and I like the club.
Why would you say that to the person? What does she say? Sorry.
I know. I always get that.
Which means what?
It means that I'm here all the time.
And the person behind
knows
the counter.
Who I am.
You're exactly right. Do you see the first line already? He says, had a McAllister's Club last time. I know I always get that. That means the person that's not there, and this is the beauty of acting. You don't need the other actor. You have to imagine them because you did with your eyes closed. Maybe I didn't tell you to see the actual person ringing up your order, but I bet some of them maybe saw, right? But that means that person does something in that moment when he says, I had a McAllister's Club last time. They know that. So they probably go to ring in your order or they're like, duh, or whatever, and you see from their action and their face, well, I know I always get that. I love it so much. Maybe I should try something new. Meaning he's saying to that person, well, yeah, I always get that. Well, fine. Maybe so whatever it is was different today makes him want to try something new. All right. And then we're off and running on our game. What's first?
A spud.
That's cool. Close your eyes. Tell me what the spud looks like.
It is brown. It's got a smiley face on it, and it's covered in salt with a little side of ketchup.
How huge is it?
It's a big spud.
Is it lunch right now?
It is.
Is that what you want to eat for lunch?
It doesn't feel filling enough. It feels
Wow.
like too little.
Good. Interesting. I usually see the other side of that where people are like, that's too huge. I'm like, he didn't think that was big
I
enough.
eat a lot.
Personally now, the spud has a reason he doesn't want it.
Yeah.
Now, there's pitfalls here in this script because all of these things are the product, okay? So you don't want to be negative about any of them, but you're going to have a reason to find out who you are again in this script. So first he sees the spud. And what do you say about the spud? Just one more time.
I just don't know if I'm in a spud mood.
And so then you move to the thing next to it, maybe, which is?
Maybe some soup.
Okay, and you say what?
Yeah, tomato. That sounds good.
I mean, who hates tomato soup? It's okay if you do. You're like the one person. But seriously, that's just a common statement. Tomato soup, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty basic.
I go when I eat tomato soup.
Right.
Sure.
Okay, so what's next? Because that's fun, but everybody can eat tomato soup.
But that woman just got a turkey melt, and she looks really happy.
Like, what do you mean?
Like big smile, satisfied. She's got that yum look on her face.
Right, and then but that woman just got
like that kind
turkey melt, and she looks really happy. So you're seeing this woman over there that you guys all saw. She's got a turkey melt. She looks really happy, which means she's happy with her sandwich. It means
like that kind of content with her life, at peace with everything, happy. That's funny. I said that, and I didn't think about it. That's actually how the script kind of describes it.
Yes, it's the script. That's the thing, but because when you look over it, yeah, he already knows the line. He hasn't memorized it. Because now, why are you not that person? We have to decide why. In this, we end up making a decision in the end, which means all of these are no's. Are you the kind of person that's content with your life, at peace, happy, Rowan?
Not until I eat.
Oh. But the point is, no, he's got a lot of life to live. Like, that lady looks happy and settled in, right? Look at the line. That kind of content with her life, at peace with everything, happy. Like, that's nice, but is that where you are right now?
No.
You got more stuff to do?
I got more stuff to do.
Then we're back on the hunt. Maybe I'll get a
Cobb club or a Cobb salad.
And they're next to each other up there, right? We're in Cobb land now. Okay, so
Cobb club or a Cobb salad. Wow, maybe I'm in the mood for Cobb. I guess I just like to say the word Cobb. But what if...
Right? So this is a funny thing here because you have a realization here that's awesome, right? Wait for it. Maybe I'll get a Cobb club or a Cobb salad. Wow, maybe I'm in the mood for a Cobb. That's about those things. Remember, scripts are much easier to do. You're not going to be, wow, I'm going to get a Cobb or a Cobb club or a Cobb salad. You are not talking about them there. There we are, okay? But watch. Wow, maybe I'm in the mood for a Cobb. There's a question mark there. You've never asked yourself that. I guess I just like to say the word Cobb. Cobb. When I saw this audition, people were so careful with that. They would say Cobb, like to themselves. But you know what's fun? You know what's happening in this scene. There's other people in line around you, which means as you say that, you can go Cobb. Sorry. Anyway, you can find how it lands or whatever you want to do. But each of these spud, salad, each of these things has a meaning, and it's super fun. You're going to see where this is going to go in a second. So hang with us. Okay. So that's fine. You just like to say the word Cobb.
Sure.
Cobb. That solves that.
Cobb.
What's next?
What if I got a BLT?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, bacon. You know, that makes me really want the club again.
Because why?
Because clubs have bacon.
I always ask why. If somebody doesn't know why, and I knew he knew why he was saying it, but if somebody says a line, if they say, I went to the bank last year and got a loan, I'll go, why? And they go, it's not in the script. I'm like, you need to know why you got a loan. All right. And then I'll believe you. I'll say, how much is the loan? It's not in the script. Close your eyes. Oh, it's $27,000. You actually owe that, don't you? Yes. Truths will come out in your eyes closed. All right. So now he sees the BLT, which has bacon, which reminds him of.
That makes me really want the club again. Yeah, that's it. The McAllister's Club, please.
Then the employee says, good choice. And for dessert, what would you do in that moment now that I see? Because there's no written line after this, you guys. It says, employee, good choice. And for dessert?
I would full circle it back to the start. Take the story full circle. So I'd go back to the start of oh boy, now we're back to this again. There's so many good choices. Right. That's what I would do.
So you guys, that's called a moment after. Every script has a moment after and before. I will show you both of them. The moment before in this scene, and you guys, whenever and as I'm trying to get my head in there, whenever you start a scene, you don't need to be off camera. If you're starting a scene and you're arriving somewhere, all you have to do is take 6-inch step back and go like this. And that's it. You never have to arrive on camera. I mean, unless you're going to do something super fun. Hi. Right? But you don't have to do that. Instead, just step back on action, step in. Oh. Welcome to McAllister's. You probably heard that in your head. Actually, I did. That's the moment before. The person actually says to you, and I missed this, welcome to McAllister's. It's not written, but that's the line you hear in your mind, which makes you say, had a McAllister's Club last time. You don't just go, had a McAllister's Club last time. You're not a crazy person. You need to honor the environment, make this about what it's about, and then, have fun with the camera. So, one more time. I'm just real quick.
Okay.
You're already confident. I'm just going to give it to Rowan. Rowan, if you will, step out here and just go. I'm going to give Rowan, since we've envisioned it, and he's seen it, he's practiced it, and he knows what the lines mean. I'm going to give him 2 minutes. Have fun, man. Nothing has to be perfect.
Are you going to come get me?
Yeah, I'll come get you. Just enjoy your script and tune me out. I talk too much. But this is the fun thing about casting is by the time you get to set, those lines will change. You are not trying to be perfect with your lines. You're actually trying to mean them, which makes a director trust you. As soon as you do that, I can get you to do this script a million ways. Now, one of the things I like to prove is that a commercial can be a play. A play can be a movie can be a TV show, an industrial. It's a full circle. Anything can be anything. People say they have a hard time with commercials. Y'all, acting is all the same. As soon as you mean what you say on camera, you will actually find it super easy. And instead of memorizing, the thing with closing your eyes is it gives you memories. So you have memories of what these things are, were, and what they meant to you, rather than going, then I have a spud, and now I have to say this. No. Watch. Rowan's a very fine actor. This is the most amount of people he's ever been in front of, so I know he's a little bit nervous. But I've had people in my class who have never acted before. I've played this game with them, and you watch, all of a sudden they're an actor, and I can get them to do it a million ways. I have fun direction that I thought about this. And I've had way too long to think about this class, okay? I really want to thank you guys for bearing with me as well. I feel like I'm talking a ton and maybe not enjoying myself as much as I usually do. But the thing is, I've been on a mission for you guys. So I'm really, really focused, and it's really kind of funny. So thank you very, very much. Rowan's going to come back in just a second, and this is going to be a lot of fun. We'll see what happens. I really hope you guys enjoy the eyes closed game. I've done that with very, very fine actors, and all of a sudden they see themselves 30 stories up. In that specific example, when she got to set, the director actually asked her, how did you do that? And she said, well, the person who taped me made me see it. So the reason it helps is because in a room like this, you want to be quiet. You won't go, you'll go, I have the power over you. I can make your friends drop. Instead of being 30 stories up and standing up to the ledge and seeing it and going, I am the one with power over you and can make your friends drop. whatever it is, but that is where you go. You go to what is real based on the environment around you. Not doing your lines in a room. This room should disappear. That's why I love the eyes closed, because it just makes it disappear. And then you're on the edge of the building. You don't have to be an actor to even do that. It's an imaginary game you can do anytime, and it's so fun. If you ever have trouble saying a line, then close your eyes. Have someone say it to you. Find the meaning of why you said it. Okay? Even in the first line of this script, you saw it didn't start with him going, Haddon McAllister's Club. The moment before is him hearing the person and stepping in. So him stepping in, the employee going, all right, what can I get for you? Good to see you. Haddon McAllister's Club last time. Well, no, I always get that. I'm going to try something new. Spud. Yeah. Whatever you see, I've heard this script enough times where I'm going to have fun with it, but I can't wait to see what Rowan does. All right? I'm whispering now because I don't want to bother him. It's funny. I look at all these comments and I try not to look at them because I'm the most ADD person. But it really, you guys, thank you for being here and for doing this. I hope he's ready. When I got my agent in LA, she sent me away for 10 minutes and I came back in 5 minutes. And I just knew the beginning and the end of the script and paraphrased the rest. And she signed me. That was a billion years ago. Rowan's ready. I'll shut up. Rowan, jump on in there.
Okay. Are you taking this from me?
You know, what I always say to an actor is, if you need this, you can certainly use it.
All right, I'll hold on to it.
And yeah, it is. You guys, never step in and throw your script down. If you do that in an audition, it says to me, this is a finished product. I'm ready. Nothing can go wrong. And then all of a sudden, the dog will bark or something and you're off your game and you need your script. Your script is always there for you if you need it. And the best actors, they don't care if they have to look at their script. They'll go, Spud. They won't go like this. A spud. They will make me believe they're talking about what they're talking about because we're going to change the lines by the time we get to set anyway. So have the grace of not being perfect. You don't need to be. All right. Look at your script for 10 or 15 more seconds, please, because I talk too much. Before you do that, any questions about anything in your script?
No, I'd love to just give it a go, and then if you want to say something afterwards.
You can do no wrong. Have fun. And I'll call action. Ready? And action.
Haddon McAllister's Club last time. I know I get it all the time, but I just love them. Maybe I want a spud. I just don't know if I'm in a spud mood. Maybe I want soup. Tomato. Yeah. Ooh, that lady there, she just got a turkey melt and she looks like she's really happy, like that kind of content, just pleased with your life, kind of happy. Yeah. Ooh, maybe I want a Cobb club or a Cobb salad. I think I just like saying the word Cobb. Cobb! Okay. Maybe I'll get a BLT. Bacon. Yeah, no, that's it. I definitely want the club. I want a club, please. Thank you.
And for dessert? Good cut. Really, really nice. You guys, Rowan just did that live in front of a lot of people, so I'm really proud of him. Rowan, jump back in here, buddy. Grab your script.
Okay.
Look at it for 15 seconds.
Okay.
I'll even lead you in here. I'll go, hi, welcome to McAllister. Good.
Cool.
Throw it down.
Okay.
Close your eyes. This is when everybody gets terrified, and it's a lot of fun. Here we go. Keep your eyes closed the whole time. Ready? And open the door and walk in, and action. Hey, welcome to McAllister's.
Gosh, maybe I should get a club. I know, I get the club all the time. I just really love it. Ooh, maybe I should try something different. Maybe a spud? I just don't know if I'm in the mood for a spud, you know? Uh, ooh, tomato soup. Yeah, that sounds good. Ooh, but that lady there, she just got a turkey melt and she just looks so happy, like that kind of content with your life and like, big smile, just happy. Ooh, maybe I want a Cobb club, or Cobb salad. Maybe I just like saying Cobb. I think I just like saying Cobb. Cobb. Uh, okay, yeah, here. Let me go ahead and maybe I'll try the BLT. Ooh, bacon. But that actually makes me want the club again. Okay, that's it. I'm getting the club.
And for dessert?
Yeesh.
Hurry up there, man.
Yeah, sorry.
Get a brownie.
Thank you. Brownie, please. Can I just have the brownie? Thank you.
Order 72. It'll be right up, Rowan. Jump back in there. Hey, Rowan, what was easier, with your eyes open or your eyes closed?
I could see everything better with my eyes open, but I was with my eyes closed, but I was less nervous with my eyes open.
Actually, I like to say in the beginning, sure, you were nervous because it is scary with your eyes closed, but then did you see, you got the script much more right that time.
Yeah.
Right, because you can start to see they disappear, the camera disappears, and all of a sudden what's left is the reality of what you're dealing with, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's really, really good. Grab the script.
Okay.
Now you get to keep your eyes open. Look at your script for 10, 15 seconds. Okay, guys. This is all you have to do to learn a script. Now, so a lot of times y'all want to rehearse 25, 30 times. If you do it a couple times, meaning read it through, have somebody, you close your eyes, have somebody read it to you. You do it for information. So the third time through, you read it through, make sure you ask, why am I saying this, or what does it mean? And then if you struggle, close your eyes and try. You'll actually get 90% of the words right. That's 5 times. And then we can shoot the thing. You don't need to rehearse or know how it's going to go. If you notice how good Rowan is when he doesn't know what he's going to say, Cobb, like that's funny. He's funny. But he is never, I guarantee you, going to do it exactly like that way again. If the director says do it exactly that way again, that's fine. I have never heard a director say that. I've heard them say, yeah, that works. Just do whatever you want, or that ballpark, or cool, or whatever, but never say do the exact same thing again, ever. All right? So now that we're there, I'll actually give him some direction. Okay? Yeah, it's really nice, Rowan.
Thanks.
Good. Good. On this one, you're just a likable guy. This will be the commercial read for me, you guys. This is a commercial now, meaning nothing's going to change. It's just Rowan's himself. All right? You yourself, man. Go in and order your sandwich. You're here on, what day is it? Friday? Saturday? You're here every Saturday, and they know you. Enjoy it, buddy. Ready? And action.
Maybe I want the Cobb today. I know I get it all the time, but I just really love it. I could try the spud. That is actually pretty good. I do like that. I just don't know if I'm in the spud mood. Ooh, tomato soup. Yeah, that sounds really good. But that lady, she just got the turkey melt, and she looks really happy. Like that kind of content with your life, just kind of at peace, happy. Or maybe I want a Cobb club. Or a Cobb salad. Maybe I think I just like saying Cobb. That's fun to do. Okay. Ooh! How about maybe a BLT? I love bacon. But the bacon makes me want a club again. Okay, that's it. I want a club, please. Please, give me a club.
And for dessert?
It's been a second.
Cut. We'll never know what he needs for dessert. Hey, guys, I want to talk about improv for a second. You can improv, right? In little in-between moments. The reason, one thing to be careful with in improv is, if it's a 30-second spot, and I didn't tell Rowan finish this in 30 seconds, you should never make a 45-second spot out of a 30-second spot. Actors, y'all have the hardest time keeping things super simple. And it usually rears its head in one-liners or simple comedy because you have a hard time setting up the tiny moment before, the tiny thing you're supposed to do, and then the moment after. Instead, you drag things out, which make directors wait. All right? If there's a 30-second commercial and you are the 2-second, when I cast Bojangles commercials, the person always exists for 2 seconds. They always go, whoa, that's good. Whatever. But that's it. So that means for your audition, if that's your line, you need to make sure it's real for you. So you close your eyes, have a bite of your sandwich, which is the moment before, realize it's good. It's about the sandwich. You're not saying your line for or to someone. It's about the sandwich. And then that little moment after, which may lead you to have another bite. But that is less than 8 seconds. But a lot of times in those auditions, you guys will drag it out and you're making directors wait. And they hate it. They hate waiting because they don't need to wait for the payoff. They need, actually, I'll have you guys do tail slates now. So they can see your name at the end. We don't need to make them listen to your name up front. At the end, it's nice because they can, it's like you're saying, thank you for watching my performance. Okay. Now, I want to change the script up. Rowan, if you'll come back up just real quick, we're almost done. And I really like this. Okay. Rowan, this time I want you to do it. You're in a play. And let's make sure we get that. Yeah, make sure we get the beginning right, right? So react to them. There's my little reaction as far as a redirect for performance. I want him to feel like he really uses the person, and that's why he's saying, and you're probably waiting for me to say welcome to McAllister's. It's probably my fault, okay? But really use, I know, see, there's nobody there, but if you hear a line on talking, if you hear a line and hear somebody talking, to just give me a second. Then it's much easier for me to believe that you're hearing. If you don't hear it, I don't believe you. So hear it in your mind. You can even practice. Hi, welcome to McAllister's. Thanks. It had McAllister's Club last time. Instead, hear it. Thanks. I still heard the line. I don't need to say it, but it's there. The moment before is you hearing that line, and it's beautiful. The director already knows, oh, this person's already alive in the scene. It takes 1 second. Okay. On this one, that's my only little read it. I'm not sure if you got that wrong or not. On this one, your delusion, this is now a play, and you're a person in present tense, but you think this is your kingdom and you're the king. McAllister's, when you step in, yes,
okay,
you're
okay.
It's present day. You're just really, these are your people. Look at your script for 10 seconds, and the lines stay the same. Don't add to the scene, Rowan. Let's see if we can get this in 30-ish seconds. Nothing has to be perfect, but we never want to take too long for. His little improvs are awesome. We don't want to add a ton of time with them. You're showing the writer or director that we may not be able to be as funny within their constrictions. I know he can, especially because this is a play now. This is a totally different environment. Here we go. Take your time, and then call your own action. Have a blast, man.
Okay.
You think you're king.
Okay. I got an idea. I had a McAllister's Club last time, but I know I always order it. But I don't know, I just love it so much! Okay, so, maybe I want a spud. I just don't know if I'm in a spud mood, you know? How about, tomato soup? Yeah, tomato. But she just got the turkey melt, and she looks so happy. Like that kind of contented and peace, kind of happy, you know? Cobb Club. I like that idea. That's really good. Or a Cobb salad. I think I just like saying Cobb. Cobb is great. Okay. The BLT. I can go for a BLT. I love bacon, but that makes me want a Cobb. All right, that's it. I want the Cobb. Give me the Cobb. The club.
And for dessert?
Oh boy.
Okay, good. All right,
I'm sorry.
No, I love you. You know, it's different than what I thought it would be, which is what every single one of you would do something different with your interpretation of what the direction is.
So good.
That's why it's so fun. And it doesn't matter if it's totally right or wrong. What matters is you commit to your imagination. And if so, guess what we can do? Change it in callback. In callback, I can get you to do it any different way. I'm going to do this one more time now. This is the last one, Rowan. We're going to do this, and now I'm going to take this totally the other direction. You guys are not going to hear what I say to Rowan, but now we're going to do a film. Okay? This is the film version of this.
Okay.
Just come in here for 1 second, Rowan.
Okay. McAllister's Club last time. I know how to get it all the time, but I just really love it. Maybe I'll try the Spud. I don't know if I'm in a Spud mood. Tomato soup looks good. Yeah. That lady over there, she just got a turkey melt. And she looks like she's just at peace. Like that kind of content. Just maybe I want a Cobb Club salad. I think I just like St. Cobb. I like BLTs. Bacon. And that makes me want the club. Okay. Yeah. All right. I'll take the club, please.
And for dessert. And cut. Come here, buddy. Come here. I'm really proud of you. All right. Thank you very, very much. Did you touch your own heart with that? Yeah.
So
I know he did, and I know you guys can feel that as well. Okay. I'm not going to tell you what I told Rowan before. Rowan, I'm really proud of you. You can let go now. Yeah. Acting should break your own heart if you're breaking your own heart. What I did to Rowan, I told him something very powerful, but I also put my hand on his shoulder while I told him that. In classes, I used to have someone go up and hold a student's hand and tell them, this isn't about you, this scene about the bank standing behind you. This is about this person not being able to have a child. And so this is about adoption. And this is about you giving them strength. And I can watch two people's hands start to grab each other. It's called the power of touch. If you're overacting or if you can't find fear in something, hold someone for a second and then tell yourself that you'll never touch them again. If you have a hard time breaking your own heart, close your eyes, see someone you love, and then let them dissipate and know that you will only speak with them this one final time. Any script can become anything. They're just words. They mean nothing. But if it means something to you, the truth will come out. You don't need to rehearse. The finest actors, of course, need to be able to do that over and over and again on set. I'm proud of you, Rowan.
Thanks, man.
I know I've shaken Rowan, and I love you.
Okay.
I know that. You're an actor.
Yeah.
I expect this from you. I also knew that we would get to this point. I knew that I could make a commercial. I thought we would make a play for a king, but we didn't. That was just my imagination.
I was trying to keep it grounded.
I know. You did it as in like, I'm the king, baby!
Yeah.
Which is a different deal. Everybody's their own king. When you're king, you get to be the king. It's good to be the king. You get to do whatever you want. And that's what you are in auditions, okay? Parents, don't make your kids be perfect with scripts and rehearse them 27 times. If you just let it go and let it play in a different light each time, then it will. It's much better because in the callback, the director knows can prove you're directable in 1 second. But if you've practiced and rehearsed, then I can't change you. So half of acting is letting go, not knowing, and knowing your lines. I know it's different, but do you guys see every time Rowan did that, the last time he did the script, it was verbatim. We only ran that 7 times, and I did it in front of 280 people. And Rowan pulled that off. That's nerve-wracking, but I knew Rowan is so good. A week ago, I was like, I'm going to push him and push him in front of everyone and watch him break. How nice of me. Well, you guys, break your own heart if you have to. If you don't have fear, close your eyes, find fear. Use someone else's fear with the power of touch, and then let go of them. And I promise you, you will be afraid. Okay? Rowan, that was amazing.
Thank you.
You guys, I think what we should do, everybody take 5 minutes. Let's move around, go do something else just for 5 minutes. We're going to take a break here for a second, and we'll be right back. I'm having a lot of fun. I hope you guys are. This means a lot to me, and thank you. It's 9:22. We will be back at 9:27 sharp. Okay. So we got 2 minutes. And I'm just curious, Rowan, should we at the end, everybody can start asking their questions at 10 o'clock?
Yep.
Or when I finish this.
When you're done.
When I finish, then yeah.
Everyone can keep an eye on the stream at around 10. When Brian gives me the cue, I'll also put a cue in there so you guys can know it's time. You all.
Okay. 1 minute. 1 minute. I'm taking a walk, says Kathy. Cindy, thanks for joining us. Rowan could sell me swamp land in Florida, Cindy says. He spent some time in swamp land in Florida.
I did spend some time in Florida.
You guys, this is a lot of fun for me. Thank you. I know it's a lot of information, and I hope it's really helpful. At the end, you guys can ask me anything you want, and I will answer them as fast as I can. So we'll see how that goes as well. 1 minute. Oh yeah, yeah. Let's do it on our next little break. We'll do it. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm doing polls as we go.
Okay.
Letting people vote.
So you guys, before we jump back in, I'm gonna. It doesn't make sense. Since we're jumping back in, I'm gonna let Rowan hop in here, and just for 1 more minute, if you want.
Sure.
Rowan, they have an awesome taping service in Atlanta, Frat Pack Productions, and I want him to talk to you about taping from his point of view for just a minute. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. So, I am Rowan, as you know now. Brian said he was going to give me a few minutes just to talk about stuff I run into because I've done so many self-tapes at this point through Frat Pack Productions. I've done over 15,000 auditions between taping myself for auditions, taping other people for auditions. So I've gotten to see a lot of people, and I've worked with people from agencies for projects all over the world. Literally all over the world, Europe, Asia, all across the East and West Coast. So there's some consistent things that I just wanted to bring up that I think would be helpful to know. Brian kind of talked about your email, I think, towards the top. I want to piggyback on a lot of the stuff Brian might be saying. When you're making contact with the people in the industry that you need to contact, let's say you book something and production needs to contact you. Don't make them figure out who Bubblegum 72 is because it's annoying. They don't have the time. They're dealing with so many people. Remember, sometimes on some of these projects for film stuff, for instance, there's hundreds of people they're dealing with. And especially if you're not someone who they see all the time and every single episode on every single shoot day, if you're a day player, you're there just a short amount of time. Make it easy for them to work with you because then they'll want to work with you again in the future. So if your email address is bubblegum72, it's great. It tells me you love bubblegum. Maybe change your email address to Susan W. Bubblegum72. At least then I know who you are. And you can still talk about how you love bubblegum. That's fine. I'm going to piggyback on Brian's preparation versus perfection. I will tell you, I see casting directors' notes from all the casting directors around. And there are some consistencies, there are some inconsistencies. I'll see, I've seen some of you in the stream saying, but Brian, I've heard casting directors say, for instance, they like the split screen slate. There are always going to be exceptions for the rule, and you should always honor that casting director's wishes. However, don't feel bound. And what I mean is this. Brian said, don't worry about being exact with dialogue, for instance. I've seen people completely lose a line in a scene and still submit that audition because they did it in character. They stayed in character when they lost the line and when they came back. So if they needed to, let's say, take a second to figure it out, or they needed to improv their way through it, they still booked it. The casting director, I promise you, is not sitting there with the script going, you missed an and right there. All right, moving on, right? Your job is to show them why you're the best person for the role. And that's not about being the best memorized. Best memorized person is rarely the one who's going to get the role because it's not about the memorization. It's about the person who understands the story. Yes, work hard. Get it as right as you possibly can. But once the camera starts rolling, just focus on the story. 2 more things, and then I'm going to give it up to Brian because he's really why you're here, not because of me. But
I'm here for you, Rowan.
Out. Thanks. If you are self-taping, I'm going to give you a quick tip if you're on the road. You're going, well, what do I use as a tripod? I didn't bring my equipment with me. I'm going to give you 2 quick tips. Almost every hotel room, almost every apartment, almost every house has a lamp. Go to Publix or someplace and get a daylight lamp. You can use that to light yourself. That's basically what soft boxes are. That's what a lot of the lighting that a lot of taping services use. That's what a lot of ring lights are. They'll be LED lights, but when you're using them properly, they should feel like daylight. Go to the store. You can get that when you're on the move. The other thing you can do is if you need a tripod, I know this is going to sound crazy, but take your phone and tape it to a broomstick and then lay the broomstick against something. I just wanted to give you that tip because I know on the road it's really hard and sometimes you don't have equipment. If you want equipment, there's lots of great options for selfie sticks and stuff like that you can take around. But if you're caught off guard, 2 tips that'll help you light yourself quickly, properly, and also help you figure out what to do if you need a tripod. Most phones have an editing app. I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions or you need anything, you can email us at fratpackproductions@gmail.com, and I'm happy to answer questions. It might take me a while if all 1,000 people who signed up email me, but I will get back to everyone. So thank you so much, and here's Brian again.
Thank you, Rowan. So yeah, one of the big things he said is, he was trying to say is when things go wrong, don't stop. Your audition will never be perfect. When the dog barks, whatever, make it part of your scene. Use it, but don't stop. It'll show the director that you're cool under fire when things go wrong, and that you actually can use a moment that wasn't even planned, which that's acting. When the unplanned things happen, even you not knowing a line, you can go down and get your line, and it's going to come up different and come out differently than you would ever have planned it. So instead, embrace the unknown. If you mess up if you mess up a take with a casting director, the odds are we're going to do it again, like 99%. So the first take, do it for free. Do it for fun. Don't care how it goes. The second take, in between that first and second take, do nothing. Listen to the director. Take that direction and then see how it goes. Rowan said to me, I'm allowed to say what I told him before the final take, okay? Before I broke his heart. I put my hand on his shoulder and I said to him, I want you to know that God has come to you and God is telling you this is your last meal. For some reason, God is telling you and knows this is your last meal and to take it in. But it really wasn't what I was saying. It was my touching his shoulder and saying that. And I can watch as he listened to me and he went. So I let him come back in here. But that's all I told him. But the power of touch can be very, very strong as far as influencing you in a feeling and emotion. So that is what I told him. And now we didn't have to share that. That was a personal thing. But at the same time, when he said I wanted you to know what I did to him and what great direction can do to allow you to not need to know how it's going to go. All of a sudden, he stepped into it. I watched him put his fingers in his pocket as he stepped up to the counter for the last time. And it was hard to watch, but it was also beautiful. It was beautiful, okay? What do I miss about? You're welcome. What do I miss about in person? I miss in-between moments. You guys, we had a lot of fun in the waiting room. We had a lot of fun just at times when it didn't count, right? So please make sure you're still having fun in your career. Join a community, do something fun in between all the things you're trying to do, okay? I still get to know you now through your auditions, but I used to get to know you. Matt Cornwell actually talked about that. He's an Atlanta actor here the other day, and he said the taping services now know the talent more than anybody. That's a little bit true because you spend time in the same room with each other. I will say that I know how talent interprets my direction and how they play that out, especially if I give them 2 takes. I can tell a really good talent usually just from even their headshot when I'm picking somebody. And in their headshot, it says to me, this person has been through a lot and this is just what they do. They're not trying to show me something for the camera. They're just who they are. This is if I ask you, were you proud of tonight? And you looked at me and you said, yeah, I'm proud of what we did. I could take your picture right there, and that could be one of your headshots, because you are caring, meaningful. You're thinking about what we've done, not about yourself. Okay. And when I can see that in headshots, I can see that there people aren't thinking about themselves. I can see that they're saying they're ready for a challenge. A lot of times these are people that have moved from Los Angeles to Atlanta. Atlanta is now a mecca for film and TV, and it's really, really exciting. But with self-tapes, you don't have to be here. You can be anywhere. So it really affords people the opportunity no matter where you are. And yes, I can tell in 1 second if you're really good in your headshot. Now, since we're talking about that, a lot of you guys on casting networks have a wide shot as your profile picture. I would never do that. I would always have a nice close-up picture, because casting directors, I don't think we have the time to necessarily click through a lot of pictures or reels. You don't need 9 pictures on your profile. You actually don't need fake reels. Please actually take the time to take classes and spend money on those things, and you will get a real reel to use for your reel. But speed reels and these things, you can feel the lack of empathy in your when I watch them. I'm like, well, they did this quickly and paid for it. You actually didn't think, why are all these things, or put your own unique breaking of your heart or these things into it. So they're risky, because they take away from the fact that you can act and do it a lot better than the speed scene. All right, let's go to some funny things. Apologizing in the submission notes or in the Zoom for not having your lighting or your normal setup. You guys have a little tiny travel setup. Don't apologize. Most of the time, we don't care until you apologize. But as soon as you apologize to a director, you have them on the defensive. They have to let you finish apologizing. And they go, okay, anyway, what I was going to tell you, they only want to say a certain amount of things. And the more you make them work, the more they have to do. So really, you have to settle in, be comfortable with imperfection, and let the director direct you. Okay? Asking to do more than one take. It takes courage to do it. But sometimes, if you think you really messed up the direction, don't make a habit out of it, though. Okay. I can remember this actual audition when I wrote it down. This talent was very, very good. And she knew after the audition, right after, she goes, I'm sorry, do you mind if I do this one more time? And he goes, yeah, you can do it one more time. She knew she did not get the direction right. And she asked to do it one more time. I thought at first, I don't ask. And then I went, she's right. And she did it again, nailed the direction, and booked the role. Only do it if you think you've really missed it and you know what you did and it feels like it was wrong, but don't make a habit out of that. But it does take courage, okay? I don't want you to shy away from that, though. If you think, hey, I could do one more, and you won't say, I'm sorry I missed that. You'll just say, can I do one more for you? And she's a very fine actress, and I'm proud of her. If she's watching this, she knows I'm talking about her, okay? Stop talking. Stop apologizing. Listen and do what the director and casting director says. Do it once, listen, apply the notes, and do it again. Don't apologize when things don't go perfect. You guys can see what I've been living through for the last 2 years as a lot of apologies, but we don't care. We're not shooting it today, so don't make me care. Parents, things don't have to be perfect, okay? Again, perfect is for pageants, parents, right? I wrote that down tonight. It was really hard to say, but acting is not for perfection. When you used to bring your kids into the room and fix their hair before their audition, you send them into the room. I used to turn around and go, oh, hey, yeah, Mike, I'm ready for you. And the mom will fix their hair. And I go, hey, Mike, mess your hair up for me. And the kid messes his hair up. Then they always look at mom. And then they go in to have fun, because acting is fun. When you're an adult, it should be fun too. You should never lose your imagination. It is the only reason to be an actor. You get to play a game in your mind. You get to close your eyes, pretend you know what McAllister's Deli is, and then order a sandwich. What if you get to do 2 takes and it's a commercial? A lot of people will send the same kind of realm and it won't really feel very different. Now, I don't want you to do the exact same thing, but that means if you get to do 2 takes, you got to change something. So let's say if it was McAllister's, what would you change? All right. Maybe one time when you step up, you haven't been here in a while. Maybe one time when you step up, something feels a little different today. Maybe one time when you step up, you're actually really hungry. Whatever it is, but all of those are tiny changes in what your day is before that led you to get there. So your meaning of being there is different. That is how you change the take. And it subtly will make it still in the realm that we need it, but will change your tone and your timing just a little bit. When you're hungry, maybe your even stomach tells you, soup, whatever it is. But there's funny things you will come across because you're allowed to live in a second take and never plan how it's going to go. The more you rehearse, when you do 25 takes, I know that. You've imprinted memories. You've imprinted memorization, not memories. When you do a couple takes and you see them, you can use the memories and it's easy because they're there. Okay? Don't talk about being on set in an audition or other bookings that you're working on. The director may not want you to be known too well and will only work against you. When a director or client asks if a talent is in a lot of other things, it can be good or bad. People have started including other bookings or reels in your audition clips. Please stop. No uploading reels or audition clips or anything like that. Yes, this is happening more and more. I already picked you, and this project is all that matters to the director. We don't have to look at anything in your past. In commercials, even in film and TV, would you have booked Rowan for the role when he came in there and had his last sandwich? Yeah, because it was awesome. I don't know. I don't need to know what he did before. The director only cares what you're doing about now. And a lot of times somebody will go, if they're on set, they'll go, hey, I'm on set. Sorry, I don't have my normal setup, doing the best I can. And it begins a conversation. Well, what's he on set for? Let me find out. Is that a competing product? Look, it can work against you or for you. So let's just make it not exist, right? So don't bring things in that don't matter. Don't do extra things. Don't add labels. Don't pay for things you don't need. Don't buy a construction shirt when you have a construction audition. Just roll around in the dirt for a second, then come back in and do your audition. That's much more affordable. Looking the role based on the role and the product and who they are trying to identify with. Trust must happen immediately. And that means this person, the prop that's holding the product, the star, you as the prop must feel right to hold that product. The way to do that is to dress the role. If you're standing in a scene, always stand. If you're seated, always be seated. It's interesting because that affects your energy and it hugely changes how you move when you're seated or standing. So I'll watch people and do that opposite, and that's not right. Instead, build something that brings your camera up eye level and shoot it standing. It's really, really easy. When things go wrong, keep going. I've written that on here like 3 times. Never record the other lines and use it to play off of, especially when you're doing 2 takes. Remember when Ferris Bueller does this with the tape recorder? Hello? I can't come to the door right now. Yeah, the second time we hear the same recording, it's funny because we know it's the same. It's funnier the second time. The first time you hear it, you're like, oh, he did it. The second time, you're like, it's playing again. I can hear that. As a musical person, things that sound exactly the same to me are just that. It was an effort to sound the same. When you're reacting to something that you've recorded, you are now not even listening. You are waiting for the moment in between your recording to do your lines. And if you're using the same recording, even if you speed it up or slow it down, I've seen that, the beats are still the same. So there is no imperfection. There is no moments that are different. That should be, because no take lives the same. No take can be done again, right? So it's really funny because people will record the other person's lines. You need to get a reader to do those things, okay? And a professional reader if possible. But parents, if y'all have to be a reader, or if you guys have to get your neighbor to do it, you guys just read the role. You don't have to be an actor, okay? Let the actor act, all right? Never have a profile pic as your wide shot. It should always be a nice headshot. It's too hard to see your face if it's a wide shot, but I do see that a lot on the profile pictures. Okay, we don't have time to click more pics. Make sure your headshot still looks like you. We've all changed over the last 2 years, okay? It feels like 6 years compressed into 2. So make sure your headshot's updated, all right? You can have, honestly, one of the big things is like today, I've had this shirt hanging since I wore it last for you guys to introduce myself and to invite you to this. If you keep track of your callbacks, keep track of things, make note and say, this is the shirt I wore. Because just like Brenda, when you imprint memories on people, they'll go, I remember that person. Even their shirt helps do that. When you change, then it's something different. You may throw off something in their mind. So when you get a call back, make sure you have the same things that you had before. Okay? It doesn't have to be perfect. Nothing has to be perfect. But if you can do that, do it. If you never change your appearance for a callback, all right? If you have the ability to wear your hair differently, then that's awesome. But I would make sure it's the same in a callback. Okay? All right? So don't change appearances. All right? You can tell an actor when I cast real people because the actors are polished or try to be polished on camera. I cast Chick-fil-A recently. It was real people casting. I also had actors read for it because actors are real people that like Chick-fil-A too. Chick-fil-A is a chicken sandwich here in the South. It's pretty tasty. Okay? Just so you guys know. The thing that would happen is when the real people would audition, meaning non-actors, because I put it on the book of faces, and I said, look, submit if you like Chick-fil-A. So everybody went, well, I auditioned a million people. The non-actors in their tapes never said Chick-fil-A once. They would say what they get. Yeah, I get a number one with extra pickles and sweet tea. Right? The actor would try to polish their scene. So the actor would sit there, and they were supposed to be at a table with their family or whatever, and sit there, and the actor would intro the scene differently. Always. They'd say, oh yeah, when I go to Chick-fil-A, the first thing I get, Chick-fil-A. And they'll start talking about Chick-fil-A. They will pander towards the product. And I'm like, that's interesting. A non-actor will never say it. An actor, you will drive a director crazy because they never need you to say, at Chick-fil-A, when I eat Chick-fil-A, it's the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich at Chick-fil-A. And actors will do that. I counted one recently, and the actor said Chick-fil-A 28 times.
Brian, can I tell a story real quick?
Story with Rowan.
I was in an audition. This was a really long time ago. I was in an audition, just to piggyback on his points, that was for a certain brand of nacho chips here in the United States, for those of you who are overseas. And it was a two-person scene, and it was, so we're supposed to be at a party. They're like, you're watching a football game, you're at a party, you're having a great time, you're eating the chips, you guys are just chilling and hanging out. I went into it going, all right, don't talk about the product. He never told me to talk about the product. I'm just having a good time. So I went in, and I'm eating my chips, and I go, man, this is a great game, right? And he goes, yeah, man, and these are wonderful Doritos. I wasn't going to say the name. Yeah, man, and these are wonderful chips. And I was like, yeah, they are really good. But hey, by the way, how's your mom been? Is she good? I hope she's doing well. Yeah, man, she's really good. She loves these chips too, and said the name of the product again. And I was like, dude, I went with it, and I kept trying to pull him back in. But I'll tell you what, I still got a call back because I wasn't deterred by him. So that's a little side note thing maybe. Because I wasn't deterred by him, and because I knew I don't talk about the product, so I talked about everything else. His mom, his great new shoes, the game, the decorations, our friend who was throwing the party. That's all.
Okay, thank you. That was super entertaining.
Sorry.
No, he's right. And you guys, he got the callback because the director is well aware that this person is comfortable making the scene more important than what they were saying. It's one of the first things I said tonight. If you actually make the scene and what you're doing more important than what you're doing and what you're saying, then I'll believe you. But there, they started to talk about what was happening as if we needed to know. In that case, no, you're watching a football game eating Doritos, right?
Right.
So there's many things you can do, but none of them are to stop and talk about Doritos. We have never done that, right? Okay. Oh, one time I did say that they need to make a Caesar flavored Dorito, but that's a whole different thing, okay?
I mean, usually the instructions will tell you to talk about it when they want you to talk about it.
It was called the Caesarito, Rowan. The importance of being an extra, is it? It's like an upside down bell curve. Learn from it, then later, when you're a SAG member, earn from it. No, I'm serious. I've been waiting for a while to say that, obviously. But in the beginning, it's great to be an extra. You will learn a ton. Your agent doesn't care if you're an extra because they don't make enough money for it. And they'll even say things like, you won't be on this show because you're an extra and you've already been on it. Okay. You should go on shows and be on as many shows as you could and not worry about being exposed or not on a show because you're an extra. You really need to learn etiquette when you're beginning as an actor. Go absorb as much as you can from sets. And then your career gets going and you start working. Sorry, it's upside down bell curve. So we're going down. And then you start working and doing things. You don't need extra work. And then you become a SAG member. And then all of a sudden you're trying to make SAG dues. And so you want to do extra work. And as a former SAG member, yeah, if there's a SAG commercial with extra or anything I can do, I'm doing it. So it's interesting. Towards the end of your career, you actually do commercials or extras or extra work more. So don't ever stop doing it. If you need to go be on set and haven't been on set for a while, it is never bad to be an extra. How much improv should I do? I talked a little bit about this earlier. Never add to the length of a scene. You can do tiny things. Cop, I do like it. Maybe I'll have that's fine. But you're not going to add your own length. You are making directors wait. And I see that over and over with improv, especially with moments before and after. Instead of it being this long and this long at the end, people will go and go and go. The joke's already over. The commercial's already on to the next commercial. We can't do that, okay? Talking to nobody. Practice having conversations with someone who isn't there. We did it a little while ago, but the best actors can do it. They will hear the lines they need to react, whether the other person is there or not. Really, guys, it's a lot of fun. My parents used to put me in timeout when I was a kid and sit me outside on a stool, and there I was, and they'd look out the window, and I was having a conversation with the squirrels, all right? You don't need, and the squirrels talk back, okay? You don't need somebody else there to imagine that. You do need to imagine it, though, because if you walk in and go, had a McAllister's Club last time, I know I always get that. Actually, that worked, but I feel like a kind of a jerk there. Instead, you'll walk in and hear that in your mind. And I know we already did it. Hi, sir. Welcome to McAllister's. Had a McAllister's Club last time. I know I always get that. So it's so much more fun when you establish that and you mean that. Facial piercings. Hide them. Honestly, unless the role calls for super edgy or calls for something that is very different or, angry, or I don't know, whatever it is, something grunge is what I meant to say. It's a 90s thing.
Unless it's relevant.
Yeah, take your piercings out. I have never seen it work in anyone's advantage in commercial. Film and TV, make the character you. If that's part of your character, keep it, okay? But take that stuff out because it's distracting. You are not the star of a commercial. You are a prop for the product. You sure are. Isn't that fun? The moment before and after, how long should they be and how to set them up? They're tiny, but every scene has a moment before and after. I already told you that, and it's really easy to figure out. All you do is when you read that, you ask yourself for the first line, why did I say this? Any first line in the script. A lot of times there's a line before that's even crossed out. You can read it up there, but still ask yourself, why did I say this? What does this mean? And then the moment before will exist. You have to use it. You have to say, okay, that's why this happens. So that means the scene doesn't start with your line. It starts with the thing that happened that made you go, yeah, put it down. You have to see that person threaten somebody and then make them want to put it down. But you can't go, put it down. That's no fun. Okay? The moment before is establishing yourself, and a lot of times it's a tiny step in. Put it down. I was already looking. It stunk. Okay? Background color. Dark background and dark hair or dark skin is not a good idea. If you have dark hair, dark skin, don't use a dark background. It should be opposite. You should pop. People do it in their headshots too, but mostly in self-taping. I see it sometimes, and they fade in. When they have amazing hair, amazing skin, and the background is darker, then they fade into that. So make sure you don't fade into your background. Okay, look at your headshot. If you have a black background and you have black or brown hair, I guarantee it takes away from the pop of you in front of whatever it is. Doesn't mean you have to go take new headshots, okay? But just be aware when you tape that it depends on your skin color and your background color, okay? Do you see a lot of that in self-taping as far as, do you change background colors? That's a good...
We found that the colors that most casting directors are comfortable with are grays and dark blues. Avoid lime green, because it's very bright and distracting. Avoid really bright blues unless sometimes if it's a commercial, and try to just. Some people like black, but only for specific types of things.
Yeah, I think it's. I mean, if it's the tone you're trying to set and it's a horror film or something, and you want it to be creepy, make it so in your mind. It doesn't matter if you're in the most lit place on earth. If it exists in you, then everyone will know it's true.
Yeah.
No, but just don't let it detract from what you do. All right. So definite no's coming up. Slating while looking at yourself instead of the lens. You guys always should find your lens, okay? And if you have a problem seeing yourself, I don't care about myself, so I haven't watched myself this whole time. People will talk to me like this now. So they're actually talking to me and they're looking at themselves instead of talking to me. Right now, I'm not talking to a camera, am I? No. I know it's a camera, but I promise you I'm talking for you. And that's, if you can do that with acting too and figure out who's on the other side of the camera, then it'll be really easy for you as well. Okay? Eyes closed, do the cups pouring game. I got other tricks too we could talk about. Let's see. Waiting for other lines to finish before saying your lines. This is one of the telltale things I think that shows actors haven't been acting a long time. They'll wait for another actor to finish. So it feels like this. But that's not how real life works. We don't wait, especially if it's ... and somebody's finishing a thought. You've got to be right there on top of it to finish their thought for them. Okay? So when you're taking words from somebody or agreeing, or don't step and don't plan when you're going to do it. But in a natural conversation, you could be a little quicker and a little bit, take things even out of other people's mouth. The reason is in commercials, there's no dead air. There's no dead air. If you feel that dead air of, that's why we did it. That's too much. If she goes, that's right, Jason. That's right, Brenda. That's why we did it. Okay. It's funny because the difference in that is money. Okay. So they're paying, and commercials pay for everything else. So they got to get it done and move on to the next one. So no dead air in commercials. I love a game where you're talking too fast. I'll do it. Some people, and they're waiting, and I'm like, no, we're going to do this so fast. Okay, yeah, this is how I want it. Is really, yeah, right now. Okay, well, go ahead. You're first. It gets so fast, and then it eliminates dead air. And then the next take, you have no problem acting a little more normal and not waiting for your lines. So it's huge to practice. Conversations have a push and pull, but they are not cut and dry. Okay. Open to camera, what it means and how to always do it. You guys, whenever an action happens in your audition, I usually tell people to keep it within 6 inches of other side of the camera. 6 inches of both sides of the camera, and I can see my whole football team. I can see the Grand Canyon. I can see that fish I'm going to get. I don't fish, okay? But the thing is, people will put things here. And as soon as you do that, you can't see my eyes. People will put things here. When you do that, you can't see my eyes. People, when you're on your phone, you can use your phone. Always look at the top of it. If I'm here, you lose my eyes. If I'm here, I can see you. These are the tiny adjustments I used to make in casting all the time. I'm like, can't see your eyes. Just bring up your eyeline for me. Perfect. So you're always looking at the top of the device when you're looking at it. Okay. There's great ways to be open to camera, and it doesn't just have to do with your body. It has to do with your eyes as well. Make choices as far as if you're arriving and something's on one side of the camera, so you're showing up and dealing with something here, but you're talking to somebody here and it's about this, put them on opposite sides of the camera. Because now it feels like I'm talking about something over here, but talking to this person. Obviously, this thing's more important than who I'm talking to. One of the places where that fades away the most is in the car. If a scene ever takes place in the car, go practice in your car. I know immediately when people have practiced in their car because it sounds different. And also, if you're a passenger in your car, if you look at a movie, whenever a passenger is talking to the driver, they're doing what? So when are we going to move? The driver's over there, right? I was the passenger. I don't know if it's backwards or not, but they're looking out the window. They're never looking at the driver, but people will overplay that. They'll look at the person they're talking to, and I'm like, hey, in this one, why don't you just not look at them and see how it feels? You know what it makes you do? It makes you listen. If you're listening, and that's with the eyes closed game, that's the real secret with the eyes closed game. If you have dialogue and you do the eyes closed thing, you will listen to them because you must. So that means you'll use what they're saying and then you'll respond. You'll stop waiting and seeing and thinking and all these things. It's a beautiful, beautiful trick. The art of making takes the same but different. Why I never make a take the same. I don't. Again, that is an art form, but just look, if you step in with your left foot on one time, step in with your right foot on the next one. It doesn't matter, but change. Okay? Do it while you're doing something else. Practice your lines in the shower. Practice it in a silly accent. The more you practice it like it doesn't count instead of the way it should be, then all of a sudden you'll know your lines because you sang them and did it differently. But play with it. Don't try to figure out how to do it and do it because that's taxing. Instead, make a game with your imagination. Okay? Have someone else watch your audition that does not know the script. See if they can tell what is happening clearly. A lot of times I can watch an audition and I have no idea what this person's doing, which means they don't either. I should be able to watch you, and without even the sound on, I should be able to tell what you're doing. But in a lot of auditions, I'll say, I don't even know why this person started. One of the big tells is when there's miming of talking. If you're ever asked to mime, then what you should do is keep talking and they'll just mute it, okay? But if you start doing this, it feels weird. Words quickly go away and you have no idea what you're saying. But if you actually still say words, or if they truly want you to mime, still say words, but don't just move your mouth, all right? It's really strange to watch that. I think you guys always have to mean what you say, even when miming your mouth, because if you don't, it looks like you have no idea what's happening. I could put other words in your mouth and it'd be much funnier, okay? We don't want to do that, okay? Why things are hard to say. Other languages can be really hard to say, but if you know the line, what they mean, it's much easier. It's not that hard to say a few simple things that make sense even in another language. It's not. Once you hear them and then make sense of them, you can even close your eyes and listen to it. You'll be able to say those lines, okay? It's 10 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
Whoo! Wow, I could keep talking, but let's not do that. Instead, I'll keep talking based on your questions. Ready? Questions? Go. I did some, okay. How do I break into the industry as a South Asian person? I have an Indian accent. That's awesome. You sound, that's great. Oh, I'm just reading. All right. Now the world of acting is much more open for everybody. You can break into this a lot easier, especially with being at distance and being able to cast through remote sources like casting networks. But the way to break into this is study. Get a great teacher. Learn to play on camera. Learn to go do student films. Go do high school or school plays. Be in community theater. All acting is the same. If you learn to perform and not perform in front of people because you actually are doing something meaningful to you, you can do it in commercials, you can do it in movies, but you must practice that. You must, if I was an actor again, I would take a script a day, I would play with it in my mind, I would do it as a commercial, I do it as a film, I do it as a musical, because that'd be fun, and then I do it as an industrial, the most boring of all.
Always in mind is operas.
Operas, do you? No, not
fun.
tonight.
They're fun.
We've seen enough, yeah. All right. Next question. Oh, I'm falling behind.
Questions at you? I can shoot them at
you. Yeah. Okay, go.
All right. So Janine Mills asks, how do you feel about virtual background if it fits with the character situation?
Not needed at all. Will never help you. I could care less about where you are. I need you to be the person. Your background could be the Bahamas, but if it takes place in Alaska, you better feel cold. Next.
What about Maria O says, I'm sorry if I say your names incorrectly, but what about plays? If you're having to read for a play, can I have room to play with the lines too?
I don't think so. A play is very specifically written, and it's been done very many times, right? But the reason you're having trouble saying the lines verbatim is because you don't mean them. I promise you, people will change lines on purpose because they have a hard time saying a word. And I'm like, I know what you did there. You had a hard time saying, I see Sally selling seashells by the seashore. Guess what? If you see Sally selling seashells with the seashore, you will be able to say, I see Sally selling seashells with the seashore. Why? Because right now I see my Aunt Sally selling seashells with the seashore. It's funny. Those words are not hard to say now because I see her on the seashore going, seashells here. You must imagine them. Do not change the words. You'll be able to say McAllister's. You'll be able to say anything in another language, actually, if you know what it means. Because you won't think of the words. You'll think of the meaning.
Seashells here. Okay. If it does not say, where do I slate? How do I label audition file?
That's a great question. Let me take that first. General rule, kids. Kids are going to say their names and ages. Adults, if you're over 18, you will never slate your age again. Do not tell us your age. You're the age I need to imagine you being. You might look older or younger, so don't tell us your age. All right? A lot of times they may not say how to label your files. I think for safety, if it's a kid, first name, last name, age, agent. Role? I don't know. I'm asking Rowan. Everybody asks for something different, but as long as you read what the casting director asks for, it is clear most of the time. If it's not, if you really genuinely have a question, and don't be annoying with it, but if you have a question after reading everything twice, ask your agent. Your agent is your bastion is the middle defense for you. So you don't have to go, hi, casting director, what about this? People will ask me questions on Facebook right now, or they'll go to my website and text me a question. A lot of times I'll answer them just because I want them to know. But what they should have done is ask their agent, right? And they should only ask their agent if they truly have read it several times, because I bet you other actors are asking them as well. So they'll know answer or ask the casting director.
Yeah, my experience, generally speaking, everyone wants first name, last name, role, and either agent, or if it's separate files, also scene 1, take 1, scene 1, take 2.
The point is, don't memorize how you're going to do your slates either. Don't memorize this stuff because everybody's going to ask for it differently. So parents, stop making your kids know how to do their slate. It's not a pageant, remember? Let them have fun. It'll be a little bit different every time. Don't shoot your slates 9 times. Go ahead, Rowan.
If it doesn't, oh, sorry, that was Rob. All right, Bridget Boyko, what is the best piece of advice you've received throughout your life?
Oh, I think it's have fun in my journey and to stop trying. Melissa McBride, our casting director, when I was in front of camera one time, I was doing a Home Depot commercial and I was trying so hard to get the lines right. And she said, are you having fun? She said, why don't you enjoy this? And I had forgotten that. I lived in Los Angeles. I had 5 jobs trying to make it. When I was a child actor, it was super fun. I just did it because it was neat and I could imagine it. Then you start to grow up and have real life and jobs and bills and all these things. Never let that imagination go away. It's the key. Being an actor lets you be a kid again every day. It's like the Frosted Mini Wheat commercial. If you guys don't know that commercial, you get to flip it and all of a sudden you're the kid side of it.
From Michelle Sharp, are there certain castings on casting networks that are only visible to agents?
Yes. Most of the castings I send out on casting networks are only to the agents. I want to know who the agent thinks I should see. If the agent is great, which there are so many good ones now, they'll push you. They will submit you. I will see your face and I will pick you.
Joshua Stallings asks, is there ever a good time when a pause is good? I think he means a beat.
Yeah, it depends, Joshua. Yes, I love that question. I remember writing you back last night. I wrote back a Josh and then I wrote back a Joshua and I was like, I better get that right. Hey, that's an excellent question. You know when a beat happens? I know when it is. When we think we're done. Let me say one more thing. It happens a lot in commercials. There's an afterthought and people usually overplay them. But I love this. There's this one about a bank and the person goes, I guess that's why banking with a Vadian feels so personal. The people will act that. They'll go, I guess that's why banking with a Vadian feels so personal. Instead of finishing the line before and then going, I guess that's why banking with a Vadian feels so personal. They're saying it or finding it for themselves. They're not saying it to you, for you. It's about the bank. It is. And that's what I did there. I thought about the SunTrust Bank when I was a little kid. It was Bank of America then, but I walked in as an actor with a checkbook. Thought it was neat, right? But that's true. So instead of acting those, that's where you can have a beat when it's an afterthought. Y'all look at your scripts. Tons of commercial scripts have afterthoughts. I guess that's why, or or the thing is, right? All of those deserve a beat. You can't ever go, yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. The thing is, like, you definitely knew that. You didn't go, I'll see you tomorrow. The thing is, so it's funny because it deserves its own space. Great question. What's next?
I apologize if I pronounce this wrong. Hefziba's World. For children under age 10, do you suggest improv classes, acting classes, or private lessons? Question.
All of them. If you're an actor, you could never absorb too much. Now, it's hard because you're spending money, right? So find classes that are affordable. If you've studied with a teacher for 6 years, switch it up. Study with somebody else because you'll become vulnerable. People go, I want to study with you again, Brian. I'm like, no, go study with somebody else now. Come back in 2 years and let's see how it changed for you. Different teachers will find your vulnerabilities and direct you differently. So immerse yourself. Study on your own. Study off YouTube. Watch this. This is, whatever. But find teachers that play with your mind.
Clayton asks, I get a lot of auditions, callbacks, get on hold a lot, but my booking ratio is not very good. What can I do to improve that?
I would say stop worrying about it. If you are on hold, if you're getting callbacks, that means you're a viable option. That means there were hundreds of other actors that auditioned that are not on hold. Generally, in the end, even in film, TV, commercial, there'll be 2 or 3 actors up for consideration, right? The end result rarely has anything to do with that final, it has to do with the scene around you, the cast around you, the aids they needed it to be. But your acting at that point is the last thing you should be concerned about. You should reward yourself. Again, you didn't book it, but you were amazing. I know I'm talking to a lot of you out there. I release you and I hate it. I love booking people. They're getting booked. That's my favorite thing. I do it as fast as I can before I lose you. But I also feel it when I release you. As a former actor, I'm like, that's hard because it's your moment. Great. People will say, I'm on hold. I'm on first refusal, which is the same thing. And they'll say, that's the kiss of death. Actors also think first refusal means they're the first ones refused. No. Hold, first refusal, they're the same thing. First refusal means that you're holding the right for that client to book you first on that given day before anyone else. So if someone else comes to you and say, I'd like to book you for this, you first have to say, book or release me. You have the right of first refusal to do so, and they will book or release you. Okay, that's first refusal. It doesn't mean you're the first one refused, which I heard, and I was like, oh, you guys don't even know what it is. First refusal is an honor. Hold is an honor. You are very good. Clayton. Is it Clayton Landy? Clayton. I don't know. Clayton. It's a matter of time. You know, one of my favorite things why casting is beautiful? I watch actors grow. Physically, they get taller than me. It's been 16 years of casting. Why are you laughing? And mentally, and they go through these peaks and valleys, and then they go, this is just who I am. And eventually they do huge things, and it's awesome. And that's why I say it's beautiful. You guys, even though we're remote now, I live through your successes. So I'm asking you not to have successes through booking. I'm asking you to have joy in what you do. And when you do, a director will notice. I booked the movie Warm Springs. It's a story of Kenneth Branagh at Warm Springs, Georgia, when before he became president, okay, and how he dealt with polio. David Paymer was the director, and David Paymer remembered me from another audition, and he booked me without auditioning for that role. And that is why it matters. When you're on hold next time, the director will know you next time. So you're not losing that. Great job. Keep it up. It will happen.
Slate, add your name typed so they see your slate. I think they're so they see your name. I think they're asking you.
No, we don't. Now, sometimes they'll ask you to hold up a card. One of the hardest things is if you don't have a profile, I have to type your name in. That's why it's important for you to name your clips correctly. But if it's already on casting networks, then it's super easy for me. I don't need those things. But some casting directors still have you hold up a card with your name and all those things, okay? Everybody's a little different. Reading is your second most important job now. Again, get those details right because they need to be.
Yeah. Oh, and that was Deb LeClaire. Susan Willis asks, If not specified, is it better to do 2 files, slate and take, or 1 file with slate at beginning or end? And is it different for film than for commercials?
It is. I think a lot of times commercials will be the slate up front, although I'm trying to switch that now, because why does a director have to watch your name unless they need to? I know that's funny, but they can see the name of your name next to the audition the entire time. They are different, right? There is no standard, so you really have to adjust to each audition. That should be part of your game. You're like, what do they want on this slate? That's why you don't have to memorize a slate anymore, because you can just play it from time to time and not worry about it, right? And just do it once and enjoy the fact that they're watching you. Remember, the most powerful thing to do in a slate is slate for them. Don't slate for me. Don't slate for yourself. Like tonight, when I say good night and thank you, I won't say it because I have to. I'll say it because I mean it. And there's a huge difference.
Athena Hutchings says, when there is another person in the scene, do we look off the camera or still look straight at the camera?
Well, it's a great question. A lot of times in commercial, we'll be talking to the people at home, right? But you can also have people in your scene as well. So the camera there can be included. Most of the time in film and TV, there is no camera. Okay? That means you genuinely have to forget that thing exists. In fact, close it and practice the scene without a camera. Make sure it's real. One big thing in acting is you guys tend to get big. Jason with Atlanta Models and Talent likes to call it turtling. People do this with their head. The thing about it is, and we call that turtling. I hear it vocally as well. I hear people going, the thing about it is, you wouldn't talk to your friends like that. So if you ever feel, usually in commercials, you're talking to somebody you know on the camera or somebody who needs to know what you know. So the way to avoid that is go hold someone's hand and then do that. You will feel yourself quickly stop going. The thing is, because you can't, because all of a sudden you're going to relate to them and you'll say, the thing is, and you'll talk with them. So if you ever feel yourself performing, do what I did to Rowan. Just go over and put your hand on his shoulder and go tell me about it. Go to a restaurant. If it's a restaurant audition, and see if you can get away with the script in a restaurant and not have them know you're doing a script. We had a McAllister's Club last time. That would be amazing. If you can pull that off, you're very, very fine. You might freak people out, and that's funny too. What's next?
Maria O. I'm Latina, but don't have an accent when I'm asked to use it for a role. How can I go about creating a Latina accent?
If you're a musical person, you have the ability to pick up accents very quickly. It's one of my favorite things, listening to people. I've watched a lot of world news over my life, and the reason is because when you watch the BBC, you actually get to hear all these different accents, and they're beautiful. So if you can't do that, find a dialect coach. Okay? Dialect coach can help you do that. It's expensive. So if you're going to do that, make sure acting is first. Then worry about accents, okay, and playing different characters. All right? If you're a musical person, start listening. Go to YouTube and do tutorials on how to do different accents, and you will be able to pick them up by ear. So that's what I recommend there. There's 2 different trains of thought to that. But if you're tone deaf, it's much harder to do. If you're musically inclined, you can hear and use that. So yeah, there's 2 different ways to learn that.
Also, there's a website I use called the International Dialects of English Archives. International Dialects of English Archives. They have every type of accent you can think of from everywhere in the world.
There you have it.
So, Kerwin Alexander, the eyes closed game. Should an acting class school be teaching this?
Yeah. I have used that on highly trained actors and watched them stop acting. There's tells in acting. I know when you are acting. I know. Because you will say something, sound has a truth. What's easier, to tell the truth or to lie? So the truth has a sound. And when you lie and don't mean it on camera, I can tell that in 1 second.
Brooke Mears. I thought theatrical headshots were supposed to have dark backgrounds. Is that true? If you have dark hair, then what color background should theatrical headshots have?
Yeah, I think if you bleed into the background, you should not have a dark background. You know what's a theatrical headshot has nothing to do with your background. It has to do with the empathy of what you are doing in your picture. To me, because again, the background, I need to forget about everything else. Okay. The way to do that is your dramatic headshot is it challenges. It looks right into the camera and it says, if I ask you, if I send you in, are you ready? It says back at me, send me in. It has a certain confidence that if I throw something at you, you'll say, throw it. I'll catch it. Watch. I've got this. But you are genuine. You're not going, I've got this. You're genuinely thinking about what it is. And that way, I catch your genuine empathy for the challenge. And the reason it works as a dramatic headshot is because I don't know if you're the good guy or the bad guy. You might be being sent in to kill everybody, and you might be being sent in to save everybody. Either way, I know you've got it. So that means that one picture can, I don't need to know if you're the good or the bad guy. That one picture can make me believe you can handle this. And it's an awesome strength. So that is the most important thing in your dramatic headshot. Your commercial headshot should be you enjoying yourself. You know when you laugh at yourself at that moment after, or you think about a reflection, or these little things, or somebody says you look nice in your shirt today? It's that moment after that you feel good. That's who I see you are in commercial, and that's really easy as well.
I think this question's already been answered. Michelle Sharf asks, are there certain castings on casting networks that are only available to agents? We asked that, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Yes, there are.
Now, for real people stuff, or if there's talents that don't require acting, I cast all kinds of things that require no acting, but they're snow skiers or music ability. All these things, I'm going beyond agents for those. So I am putting those on social media and open to open on the breakdown services as well. It's not as often though, because the agents are amazing headhunters, so they'll find you. You need representation. I know that's hard these days. You've been sending a million pictures trying to get agents to pick you. Be patient. Work on your craft. There's one of you in the world. So as long as you get really good at what you do and you love it, and then when it's your time, you actually stand there and do nothing when they're directing you, and then you go for it, just like Rowan did each time I messed with his mind in front of all of you, then you'll do it. You'll be able to act.
Stephen Levin's thoughts about how much action should be done in self-tapes.
Well, it depends. If you're at war, and if you're, one of my favorite things, honestly, is when somebody's on the other side of a wall. So the way to do that is people will do that like this. They'll talk to the person. How you doing in there? Good? Yeah? No, practice that with the other person being on the other side of the wall, and it will totally change. You won't look at them anymore. How you doing in there? It feels totally different. If you are digging a scene and you're digging a hole in it, you dig the hole. You think you're going to stop for your action and stop and talk? Only if it's Cool Hand Luke and you're taking a load off. No, you're going to keep working while you do it. A lot of people say no props. Here's the best way to deal with that. If they say no props in your audition, practice with a prop. Practice digging a hole, not in your laundry room with a shovel, but yeah, get your shovel and dig, and then take the shovel away, and you will know exactly what it's like to dig. Okay? I have trouble with that. But that's it. You practice with props. If you're afraid, somebody said to me one time, well, this guy has a gun on me in this scene. What do? I had him close his eyes. I walked up to him like this. I put my fingers right in his face. I said, open your eyes. I said, now what are you going to do? And he, There was no gun in my hand. Make believe that's happening to you. Make yourself afraid. See what happens. Find what makes you move. The action in a scene is dictated by the scene around it, not the lines. The lines are a result of the scene, and your action is a result of where you are, if you're 30 stories up or whatever it is. All those things come first. The lines come last. Actors want to memorize and know their lines. I want you to know the story and see it and feel it, and then the lines, like the first time Rowan said the woman was at peace. He said that line exactly right because he had already seen it. So that's the beauty of what you need to do.
Trin Miller asks, should I always slate my name if they don't ask for a slate?
Yeah, and I don't think I asked about the combining earlier. You guys, if they don't ask, combine your takes, okay? Because it's easier. And I think they will always ask for a slate. If they don't, I think you do it at the end anyway. That's a rare case, okay? A lot of times your profile will have your name on it, so I'm not sure about that one.
I apologize if I say it wrong. Zuhair Ahmed says, so no to side-by-side slate and full body shots?
Listen, there may be some casting director that's asking for that. Is there, Rowan?
There is actually. I've heard there's casting directors who do like it sometimes.
Yeah.
They say they like it because it's quick.
Oh.
But I imagine, again, this is a perspective thing. If it's not, if they say do one, usually they'll tell us do this, then go to the wide or whatever.
Right.
The instructions are usually pretty good. If they don't say, I stick with what I know.
Yeah, for some reason, it's just distracting. If you look at two things at once, I promise you're not doing both. If I ask you to dribble a basketball and then do something, then type, neither of them are going to be as good. But if I watch you and then 1 second later see the wide shot, then it's fine. But I think people are trying too hard is the point. I think they're putting title cards and all these things. I promise you, the director does not care about those things. The director is what matters. Sure, maybe it makes it a little quicker, but I think it takes away from that moment of you saying hello to the director. They want to focus on you for just a second, so it definitely does.
Jake Carlos Flores asks, any in-person workshops with you coming soon?
Yes, I'm going to start traveling again soon, as long as the world allows it, right? We're in a weird place, but I cannot wait to be back in person teaching with you guys and also casting. I will cast in person. And when I do, I plan on giving people an option. They can Zoom with me if they can't make it, or they can be there live with me. I love it when people are live with me because one of the main reasons is I control the camera. It's really funny to think about if you guys treated Zoom auditions like in person and you came in and started messing with the camera and then, asking, doing all these funny things. And it would just really mess with me. But I love in-person casting, and I miss you guys a lot. It's the in-between moments when I really get to know you and have fun with you. We don't have that connection as much anymore, but I certainly love watching your auditions, directing them, and picking and watching you in callbacks. One of my favorite things as a director, I try to read directors' minds, and I'm very good at it at this point. A lot of the directors in callbacks, they try to do as little as possible. Will actually let me just to direct the callbacks. Sometimes up until the last take, or they never do anything at all. And it's such an honor because I'm speaking for them and I'm directing you and I'm letting it all go. And it's beautiful to watch. It's almost like I don't exist. And it's really neat because as long as I make that match, then I get to go away and you guys get to do your thing. And I love doing it.
Can I straighten you out just a little bit?
Yeah. It's fine.
There we go. Thanks. That was just bothering me. Okay. I have a full-time job. Jennifer Park Kim. I have a full-time job in pursuing the field as I'm starting out. At what point do you recommend quitting my full-time 9 to 5?
Probably never. You honestly need to do something that's going to allow you to enjoy your acting career. That's a hard job to find. But find something that allows you a little bit of flexibility in acting. If your boss likes that you're an actress, then go tell him. And so you can actually go book those gigs. But you need to find something that allows you to comfortably enjoy your life because the odds of you making as a superstar actor and paying for your entire life with acting is very, very small. That is not the reason to be an actor. The reason to be an actor is because you want to tell yourself stories every day. You want to be a part of a director and writer's imaginatory reality they created, and it's fun. And eventually, if you keep doing it, you will find yourself into a role that pays for things, but not because you were trying to get that.
Corey Rose asks, we had extra work on Netflix's Outer Banks. How do I break in the industry from Barbados? Do I need a U.S. work permit?
I would think so. Yeah, I would think so. And that's a great question. This is by far the most international class I've ever taught. And this is so cool. I think, obviously it's a little tougher to work in different countries right now anyway because of travel. But I'm not sure of the work requirements, but again, you know, a lot of times if we need somebody that has your accent or is naturally from there, the best casting directors will find you and we'll get you to work here. That's not a problem, right? So you guys actively look for castings when you can that are posted and audition for anything. Don't be above anything. Your local school, your local play, there may be a casting director sitting in the audience. There could be the next big director. That tiny student film, that student, I've watched it. I've watched those students become producers and directors here and all over, and it blows my mind to watch kids now telling me what to do, and it's super fun. So this journey, you never know where you'll end up, but you better keep loving it. Otherwise, it becomes work, and acting shouldn't be work.
Deb LeClaire asks, Slate must be filmed in landscape, but my room is small, ...
Yeah, sometimes you can just pan down and pan up if that's need be, because they say full body and that's hard to do. But I think it's bad when you switch your phone straight up and part of the video is sideways and then part of it's straight up. How do you usually deal with that, Rowan?
If I'm in a tight space, I will open the door and shoot it from the door, or just shoot the slate in a place where you can get your full body. It doesn't have to be the exact same place. It's a slate. It's just so they can see that you're not hiding any weird stuff that they should know about or unusual stuff that you didn't tell them about.
Your background does not have to be perfect. I never judge somebody unless they're shooting up and there's a window with bright light that's brighter than them. Really, if they dishonor that and if they have a ton of headroom, I know that they don't know what they're doing. But even in my old casting office, we had a light switch in the background that was a different color. Nobody ever said anything about it because they don't care. Directors don't care. The director, again, uses the Armatron effect, meaning they want to just pick you up and put you down, tune out the rest. If your dog comes in and becomes part of the scene, use your dog as part of the scene, right? But never expect perfection. You'll end up apologizing and then making people work more.
Luis Loha, I apologize, Luis, if that's not right. I have a question. So I studied acting from middle school to high school. I didn't get to continue college. I didn't have the funds, but I would like to audition. What can you tell me? Do I send demos?
You don't need to send demos. That's your previous work. What will get you work now is to find those auditions, even if it's the really small ones. I promise you they'll be rewarding, right? Find a play and be a part of it. You need to keep working. You do not need to give up your job to chase an acting career, right? That's a big move, all right? Unless you have a lot of savings, then do whatever you want. But if you need to pay for acting, then make sure you continue to do that, because otherwise it becomes a struggle. And that's never where you want to be in your career. We do get to that point. I see actors burn out because the struggle became too long. And then I see actors who actually have come back, or they realize, I'm going to be an actor. I'm going to do this no matter what. And they'll never stop. And it's an acceptance. It's beautiful because all of a sudden they don't have to try anymore. They'll continue doing it. And you are never too old to start. You're never too young. One of my favorite people to watch start are older people when their kids are gone off to college. And I'll go, it's your time, isn't it? And they go, yep. And I'm like, because it's like they're the 10-year-old again. They don't have to care, and it's their time to play. You must all find your inner 10-year-old in casting and auditions. This has to be fun. If it's not fun and you're trying, as I said earlier, it's super evident. But if you mean what you say, you won't have to memorize and try to say your lines anymore. You can learn the meaning of anything much quicker than memorizing it.
Chan asks, how to go about making a reel without any scenes?
Well, don't. How did I get in this reel?
Start shooting your own stuff.
Yeah.
You've got a phone.
That's the answer.
Can I
go ahead, Ro. Come on, Rowan.
One other thing. Story time with Ro. One other thing, really quick. Cell phones these days have amazing cameras. Start practicing using your phone. It doesn't even have to be good to start. You just need to start doing it. Write a script. Grab a friend who likes acting, who is an actor, who just wants to play around and practice, because that'll help you understand your framing. It'll help you understand light. It'll help you understand how to work in front of a camera. So one of two things is going to happen. One, both these things are going to happen. The first thing that's going to happen is When you go to tape something like an audition, you're going to be much more comfortable using the equipment. And that's one of the big fears we have when we have to do it ourselves. The other thing I'll tell you is when you're on set, you'll have a better understanding and be able to have more intelligent conversations with the people around you. People go to set and they get super like, oh, I'm going to stay to myself and stay out of the way. Everyone's obviously busy. And I go, no, I know where I'm supposed to be, when I'm supposed to be there, how I'm supposed to be there. I know how to have these conversations only because I've used the camera so many times taping people in auditions. I've made it a point to direct things, to write things, to produce things, just so I can learn and be a better actor. And because I enjoy the things, why not? And that's all for me.
When you guys get on set, if you're a day player, meaning you're only going to be there for a day or two, don't act like a day player. What Rowan just did, where you're trying to fit in or trying to figure it out. Instead, I want you to know something. When you're on set, you've booked the role. No one will ever be that role. There is one of you, and only you will play that role in that moment forever. It is yours. You own it. So that means you have nothing left to prove. When you're on set, enjoy it, take it in, listen. Don't do anything until they ask you to. It is the most enjoyable of time because you're waiting for that moment to go, oh, we need you on set. You're like, I know you do. So when you get to that point, don't act like a day player. Act like that role is yours forever, and you get to play it, and it's yours, and it's really palpable.
Yeah, and one last thing, even if the stuff you're shooting isn't great, throw it together for a reel. Maybe it helps you get a student film, which looks a little bit better because the people are better trained. Maybe that helps you get the next better movie with better trained people, blah, blah, blah. It's a steamroller, but it can't start rolling until you do something about it.
And you didn't pay for that. That's the thing. You don't pay for that scene. You learn it, and you know it, and you use it.
PKM, these are just letters, so I'm sorry, PKMN. Pokemon, that's what that says. If I want to be in film acting, is it okay to join local theater for experience acting classes?
Yes, the theater actors are the finest actors. They know what it's like to stand in front of an audience of 1,000 people and to mess up. You know what happens when you stand up in front of an audience of 1,000 people and you mess up. You know what you do, right? You keep going. You find your way back into it. So they have a grace because they know what it's like already to be in front of that theater. And yes, sometimes a theater actor can go, oh, I've been in theater. I know how to do this. How do I make this smaller? You know what I'll do? Action. And they'll go, the thing is, that Brian, this is actually not hard. And I'm like, I know. It just depends on what venue you're in. It really does, but adjusting to different forms of acting is not hard. Watch. Make it meaningful based on who you're talking with even. Take a play and take your monologue and say it to your grandmother, and then say it to your nephew, and then say it to your neighbor who you don't like. Each of those things are going to sound different because of the people you're speaking with, not the lines. The lines don't even need to change. Okay? It's your relationship to people that makes you be able to act in anything, anywhere.
S. Naka, I hope I said that right. Is there any chance we could book beyond our own races? For instance, Asian girl could book white girl's role.
I love it when somebody comes in. They used to come in and go, Brian, I don't fit this role. Why are you auditioning for it? And I'll say this. You're my wild card. You're the one that the director doesn't know that I'm reading for this. And I think you're right. A lot of directors go, Brian, you know the talent. You decide who gets to read for a role. If they leave a role open to ethnicity and age or whatever for me, I can show them a lot of different people. But every once in a while, we might show somebody out of the box. And when we do that, you are the wild card. So if you feel too old or young, or I don't play in my 40s, why am I reading for this? Show them how good you are. Show them that it can be you. Or they'll go, oh yeah, he read for this, but they're right for the other thing, and you'll book another role. So yes, it doesn't matter if you feel right for it or if it's a different demographic. Make it yours. Have a blast with it. And we'll see you again. Directors will remember you.
And do directors ask you to sometimes think outside the box?
Yeah, directors will say things like, make it your own. Or put this in your own words. Actors are really afraid to do that. When they say that, it's an awesome direction because that means you can go, oh, yeah, it's good to be back. You know, I always get the club. Sure, yeah, I had a club last time. I'll try something new, a spud. Yeah, Ooh, a salad. The roadmap is still the same. When you put something into your own words, I watch. Directors will say that. An actor will change the first line, then do the rest of the script. It was already written. And then the last line's a little different. You need to change it up. The director sometimes says, do it wrong. If they say do it wrong, then that means do it wrong. Maybe you act like you don't care about this, or you're just not meant for this commercial. Whatever it is, do it wrong and go for it. Because that's funny. It doesn't count. Directors love to see takes that don't count. There's a reason they're asking for it. A lot of times they'll go, just do something dumb or like you don't care. Well, they'll get you to do that one way, and it'll be a much better take because you won't care because it wasn't how you thought it needed to go. And then the next take, they're like, do you feel that? You're like, yeah. And they're like, just good. Do whatever we want now. You have it. That's my favorite direction, is to say, I already have what I need, so just do this last one for fun. It's a trick that I'm doing to make you go, I've already achieved my goal. Now I get to have fun. That should exist in you in the beginning, right? It's fun from the get-go. Most likely we're erasing your first take. So don't fear failure on your first take.
Daniel Reader actor. Props on self-tapes. I had a scene where they donned gas masks. I'm trained and have access to actual masks. I used it during the self-tape, showing that I'm trained and capable. Good idea?
If they said no props, do not use those props. If the scene in the beginning, if you know how to do that and you take that gas mask off, fine. But if it's blocking your face or something, we don't need you to wear that gas mask. You should not block your face with things. They can put it on the gas mask. But the thing I ask you is, you had an advantage, I bet, because you could practice with the gas mask on. So what if you didn't have a gas mask? I would practice breathing through something so it feels like you're doing it. So you actually practice what it would be like. That's like when people are talking to somebody on the other side of a door and they don't practice like that. They'll talk to them, but when they're on the other side of the door, they'll talk to them. If they practice it right, if you're in your car, you'll talk differently than you don't. I need to make believe that you know what it's like to feel these things. So use something that makes you feel like that. You don't have to use props. You can make a prop disappear and they'll go, this person knows what a gas mask is, without the prop. It's like me asking somebody to walk up and hold a golf club and then hit a golf ball. If the second I know, or if I ask you to hit a tennis ball in a tennis court and you stand in the wrong place, I know you're not a tennis player. So there's a million tells.
Carlos Torres. I'm Latino, heavy accent, love acting. What to do to improve bookability?
Well, Carlos, it depends on your accent as well. A lot of times when we cast here or in the United States, I think we're looking for neutral accents. I think a lot of times if you're from Barcelona, you have a thicker accent. Argentinians sometimes have a thicker accent. It just depends where you're from. But really, you shouldn't worry about the fact that you had an accent, okay? There is one of you in the world. I don't need you to become someone else. Only a few actors that are incredible can do that, like Gary Oldman. Gary Oldman, you're watching him sometimes and you don't even know that's him. If you haven't seen the movie True Romance, if you're 18 or over, you can watch it. You won't even know that's Gary Oldman. But so few actors can do that. So make the role you, work with what you have. If you can't change your accent, maybe get a dialect coach. But, I'm sure in your country where you're from, your accent is appropriate to that. So use it. Instead of fearing it, you guys, there's only one of you in the world. So make sure you enjoy your performance of what you do.
Shannon Burns. I graduated in 2021 and got an agent and have been taking classes since I left school. I don't get a ton of auditions and don't have real footage. Can I do anything to increase audition requests?
I think you just have to stay on the hunt. I think you have to find your own. No matter what market you're in, and maybe we could get a follow-up where she is or what market she's in. Or like Rowan said, create your own opportunities as well, meaning start filming yourself. Start spending time behind the camera. I found a lot more about actors behind the camera than I did in front of it, right? I realized behind the camera when somebody was having fun or when all these things. So spend time behind the camera and you'll actually see a lot more in others acting. You'll learn more because the camera's not staring at you as well.
Do you think it's a good idea to do plays if you're not getting a lot of auditions? Because casting directors go see those and like you.
Again, any form of acting you could do. If I was an actor again, I guarantee you, the first thing I would do is try to do is Beetlejuice the play. Oh, I'll tell you something. I mean, I think I can do it. Hear me out. No, really, I would just love to do that because it would be so much fun. And I won't do it, right? But if I did, I would love to do plays again or musical theater.
They're fun. Brian Houston, is it well received to give a different impression of a scene?
It depends. If they ask for 2 takes, you need to be in the ballpark, right? One's hungrier or whatever those little nuanced differences are. But if you're changing a bunch of lines or changing the moments before and after, that's not how it's going to go in the end because you're dishonoring the writer. And there's a cadence. A director has already seen this vision as well. So it's better to play into their vision. Now, you can easily change a take so it still works, right? Maybe you're in a bigger hurry. There's always a reason. It depends on the scene. And I love it. The second I get a script, I know what time of day it is, why this person is showing up, who they're talking with, where they were before this. There's these funny little questions you can ask that you don't exist, and it will tell you how they're trying to tell their story. It's so neat because there's tells, just like that McAllister script. The very first thing when he goes, yeah, I know, I had this last time. That means the person knows, and then something happens where he's fine. He's going to get something different because maybe the person's always thinking you get the same thing. But you must make those things real.
Brendan Daly or Daly, I'm not sure. What was the class course study you got the most out of?
Wow, I loved entomology. The study of bugs. It really was incredible. I did not study enough as an actor. You want to know why? Because I thought I was pretty good, and I was, and it was easy. But I guarantee you, if I had taken more time to learn how to break my own heart on camera or not memorize lines, I didn't look at acting like this. I didn't look at, okay, I can mean this as my last meal, as King, as the person in the commercial. I didn't play with my mind like that. So I wish I had studied more. But that's all I've done in the last 16 years is play with you guys. So now it's so much fun because every single time I see one of you, I know it will be different. And I love seeing how you interpret the direction.
Mickey Pollock, How do you feel about do auditions on set instead of a backdrop?
Oh, yeah. If you're on set, I do it all the time. I had callback last week. Talent's on set. So what I tell the client is this talent will appear.
I think she means like doing it in your car if it's set in the car.
Oh, just do it in your trailer or find a wall somewhere that's quiet. Have somebody hold a camera. The point is anything. Am I still answering? No.
She's
I
asking
see you laughing.
if I have a backdrop, but the audition calls for me to go, like the scene is in a car. Do I tape it in the car or do I tape it on the backdrop?
Never. No. Yeah, you want to go sit in a quiet place. You don't need to tape it in your car. Honestly, the steering wheel will be in the way, and it's not a clean shot because I can have you sit in a chair and make you believe that you just got in your car. That is easy. You want to know how I'll know it's easy? You practiced in your car. And once you do that, I will know. Whenever someone has an audition for being in their car, I beg them to practice in your car. And then I can tell who did it because, who's feigning things and not sure, or who actually gets in their car and does it and then has the memories of how the scene goes while touching things.
Joe James, the actor, asks, for those actors who are not vaccinated, is it a bad idea for them to still submit to vax mandatory projects to stay on the radars of CDs for potential non-vax mandatory projects that may come up?
A lot of projects now are vaccinated only. We're in a weird place, so who knows where it's going to go? Never lie. If you audition for something and you say you're vaccinated and you're not, then if you lie one time to casting or directors, then it will always come back on you. It really will. So don't do that.
So don't even submit to those projects.
No, don't submit. If you're not vaccinated, it is what it is. You are limiting your work, but at the same time, the world may change. So we can get past all of this, maybe, right? It seems like we haven't talked about COVID in a while because we have other things going on that are really scary. So,
Corey Rose has sent the question about we had extra work on Netflix Outer Banks. How do I break into the industry? Do I need a U.S. work permit again? Corey, we answered that a little earlier.
Yeah. Oh, they asked that all again?
It popped up again in the feed. I think they asked again.
Next question.
Okay. Candace N. Lee. Absentee reader, is it acceptable to pause where the reader should be? Doesn't say reader required in the taping instructions.
The pause would be because you're hearing something. So, right, if there's another person's lines, you need to have somebody else say those lines. You should not just be reacting to lines that should be there that aren't. Only the finest actors can do that. Only the finest actors will go, yeah, that's why I threw it to second base. Okay, they will hear something and respond, but it is very hard. It's easier to act with another actor. So make sure you're not feigning those things. The only moments you can do that is when it's unwritten, where you walk into McAllister's and you hear the line, "Hi, welcome to McAllister's," and you say, "Had McAllister's Club last time." That first line that I'm doing is in response to the unwritten line. So you must hear it. That's where all actors can do it. Just practice it one time with somebody going, "Hi, welcome to McAllister's." You'll respond. Then the next time, hear it in your mind. You'll respond.
Can I just add? Also, a lot of taping services have an option to read with you through Zoom, like Frat Pack, we do. And also, you could get a friend to read with you through Zoom. Do you have any suggestions for if they don't have a reader besides that would be free?
I would say
having a friend read with you.
You got to find somebody because you can't record yourself. It's very strange when you do recordings. It's really distracting.
Michelle M. I have a slight disability. Can I try out for roles that do not specify that? I am just getting started.
Yes. You have a special ability, not a slight disability. Again, there is one of you. So you're an actor now. You guys, as soon as you begin your journey, you're not an aspiring actor. You are now an actor. Okay? So I want you to know that no one else is ever going to be like you. And you watch. You are the wild card for auditions. You are the one they won't see coming. And they'll go, "Oh, this is awesome." So it's great to be different.
Boston Tory says, what do you find that most sets apart the short list from the person who is cast?
Very, very little. If it's a commercial and they have 12 people in it, those last 3 people that are on first refusal for each role, they are all even most of the time. Meaning they got to have African Americans here, and some Hispanics here, and white people here, and whatever. They got to check the boxes. But if you're on hold, that means the director has already said, this person is good enough for me to work with. It means this person, if the other person isn't available, and a lot of times all 3 holds are even. Sometimes there could be first, second, third. Most of the time they're even. Then the director will go, "I'm comfortable with any of these people." What an honor. Okay?
Michelle Scharf again asks, are there castings on casting networks only available to agents? Yes, there are castings on casting networks that are only available to agents. For a more detailed answer, Michelle, please check this video out when we post it after Brian's all done, because he's gone over it a couple times. So it's available to you. Jamie Vowell, should an actor act bigger than life in a commercial audition? Like definitely different than in a film audition?
No, that's the thing. You guys are treating commercials differently. You're going, when I go to the bank, like that is, nobody asked for that. It means nothing, right? But you saw what I did with Rowan. I grounded him. His commercial reads in the beginning actually were a little bit big, right? Even the King, he felt it. Rowan was a little loud or big. I wasn't worried about that today. What I wanted to show is the ability for him to be able to do it differently. You need to ask yourself, does this commercial feel real? Do I feel like a real person or a performer in this thing? Have somebody else watch it and have it feel like, does this feel like I'm talking to you? Like, is this how I would talk to you? Or something that makes it feel real. But you guys, a lot of times in commercials try to memorize lines and then say them, which is so hollow. You have to perform if you do that. But I promise you, if you do the eyes closed game, yes, I know it sounds very redundant at this point. You will put the easy button on in your acting career, and then I can get you to do it any way that I want you to do it, which is way more fun than the way you planned, which is never the way it goes.
I'm sorry, there was a jump in the questions. I'm trying to find my place.
Do you have acting? Oh, yeah, these are the same. That's interesting. Are we on
Some
a
of
loop?
them, I don't know if some of them are looping. I'm not sure if some people are asking us twice.
They're like, just keep asking.
I'm going to pick up from here. I apologize if I skipped your question. You can write it again. I'll see it at the end. Trin Miller asks, I've had a lot of calm self-tapes where they don't... Oh, no, that's them talking to each other. Here we go. Maria, if a role calls for crying with tears, what technique can I use or advice?
I think if you've watched this, you know the answer to that. Break your own heart. Go hold someone's hand, hold their hands, and let your heart know that it's the last time you hold their hands. You can even tell that person, hold my hands like I'll never hold your hands again. You'll feel the person who has no idea what you're doing hold your hands tighter, and then you'll hold them tighter. You'll feel fear set in. Say goodbye to them. Or close your eyes if you have no one there, and then say goodbye to someone for the last time, ever. Build that fear. Build that idea that you'll never touch again, and then go with your scene. If your scene is broken, or if you break during, what if you have to, in the middle of a scene, switch gears? It's hard to do. You're on top of your world, and all of a sudden you realize that they didn't make it, or whatever it is, then that means you make it personal. You find what hurts. And when it hurts us. I guarantee you some of you cried while watching Rowan's last meal, because it hurts. But when it's true, and he believed it. He went up to step up in order for one last time. It's scary, and then you're not acting. The words will be there for you.
Melissa Thomason says, how long does it generally take to hear back from a self-tape audition? My daughter has only gotten put on hold once, so I never really know how long to be hopeful.
Yeah, that is a great point, is that you guys, we rarely get feedback anymore, right? It's like the oblivion. Did they watch it? Did they download my WeTransfer? Right? All of these things are really nerve-wracking. So that's why you have to win battles for yourself. That's why acting has to be for you, and you have to enjoy it. You have to go, that was awesome, because you believed yourself, or you go, did I believe myself? How could I have done this better? And then you attack those weaknesses. But when you walk out of that audition room, you go, I did it today. This was fun, and let it go. I know it's hard to not hear. You shouldn't expect to hear. This is the job offer, the job that you're interviewing for, most likely you're not going to get. So don't be disappointed when you don't get it. Instead, love the experience. Love the fact that you got to be that person for a minute. I promise you'll start to do it over and over. And I can see so quickly when actors are very good at these things. I'm like, oh, it only takes a second. I'm like, I'll put you in front of anybody because you are that good. Okay?
Brenda Watkins asks, I'm in Texas and ready to act. Is this going to be a problem for me since I'm not in Atlanta? I don't have an agent.
Oh, what's wrong with Texas? That doesn't, I just turned into George Bush.
I don't know what that was. That was in Texas.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks a lot. Don't judge me. No, there's a lot of opportunities in Texas. What's really neat is I'm now working with agents in Dallas and Houston, all over. So I actually send them breakdowns. And a lot of times I like to call those agents and go, hi, I'm a casting director in Atlanta, Georgia. And they're like, hi. And it's weird for them because a personal connection is not what we tend to make anymore. But we're building those. And you can, there's going to be something that shoots in New York that requires a Texas accent. Not a Pace Picante commercial, but something that requires a Texas accent. So you wear that like a Lone Star badge of honor, okay? Until you can do some other kind of accent, and then you can do that. And then you can, whatever. Don't judge any of my accents. I'm so nervous with a lot of international people here.
I apologize if I say this wrong. Coco McQuaig For a movie, how long would it take to hear back once the audition was sent in? That's kind of similar to what we had earlier.
Yeah, pretty sure you're already reading these, Ron.
This is a
You guys
different
never
person.
wait for an answer. The moment your audition is over, it's over. It doesn't exist anymore. That way you are not waiting ever. You're going, okay, I already talked about this, but seriously, you're like, all right, it's over. What's next? That's what you should be asking.
Hannah Welsh, if you don't have an agent, how does casting get back to you for callbacks, getting booked, etc.?
Without an agent, and a lot of times this is real people casting, then of course they're submitting their email address to me, so I'll just write them back. A lot of times agents source real people for me too, and I always try to go through the agent. The professional way to talk to talent is through an agency, if they have one. I greatly respect that boundary because agents speak for their talent too. So on set, when a talent doesn't like their contract, you guys don't go, excuse me, this isn't what I'm, nope. You go, take a picture with your phone, send it to your agent, and your agent goes, excuse me, this isn't what they signed on for. And they'll call casting, and I'll go, yep, I agree. And I'll call the producer and go, do you want to finish the commercial? You're not the bad guy anymore. It's because they didn't do what they were supposed to, but never put yourself in that position. When you're on set, do nothing. Don't put yourself in any position where this person's, nah. You need to make sure that your agent always speaks for you, and casting director will back you up too. When something's wrong, and as a former talent, I always lean towards what did we promise the talent? Because our relationship with actors and you guys trusting me as well is so important. And once we have that two-way street, you'll come into audition on Zoom even, and we trust each other. You know already that I don't care if your background is perfect. You're not going, hey, Brian, how's my headroom? Is this, you can see me okay? Oh, I kicked that light. Is that a hi? I'm like, you are already making me chill you out. And I'll say 20% of auditions begin with me making sure you're okay. So in auditions, mark your mark. Stand on it. Hide your video. Because you know your frame, just like the old days. You didn't even used to know your frame. You used to trust that I would shoot it. Hide your video, and then there you go. As long as you're on your mark, and I marked the floor tonight for this, you will know that you're within your frame. Okay? And then you can forget about seeing yourself and what you're doing. Okay?
Brooke Mears, when doing a self-tape with different scenes, is it okay to film each scene separately and then put them all together, or do they all have to be recorded in one take?
No, never do multiple takes, and never do your slate as part of one take. People will go, and that's why I went to the bank. I'm Brian Beegle. And I'm like, oh man, those are two different people. You're never slating in character, right? You think Michael Keaton walked in and he was like, hey, how you doing, Beetlejuice? I'm like, no, he didn't. He walked in and he was like, hey guys, it's nice to see you. And when he walked out, he didn't go, ugh. No, he went, thank you very much. Okay? I have fun with that. Sorry.
CJ, no, Hannah, that's not a question. Okay, Hannah Welsh, should I get a dialect coach to have a more neutral accent? My accent now is Southern, but feels it hurts my chances of getting booked, even when I try to hide my accent.
When I moved to Los Angeles, the first thing my manager said was, never say yes, ma'am again. And I was like, yes, you got it. Meaning you need to be neutral. If you're Southern, you're going to be Southern, right? It's how it is. But you need to be neutral. So if you need a dialect coach to do that, Hannah, then find one because it helps. But that's only, you are at a point of your career where you're a really good actress. You want to push the boundaries. You're studying all the time. You want to play, shoot, why can't a Southerner play a Brit? I bet we can pull it off. I know you guys play us real well. But the thing is, I'm sure you can. Everybody can learn something different. And there's so many good teachers in Atlanta. You can use the Google to find your teachers now, okay? I saw a question on here that asked what percentage of spots that are union and non-union here. Most of the spots I cast are non-union here in Atlanta, and that has changed some. It's up to probably 80% now that are non-union in Georgia. So it is a different ballgame here. If you're non-union in Georgia, you can work union projects as well. So it really is beneficial a lot of times for the smaller things to be non-union. But if you're an actor long enough, you will book big enough roles in places and you will be in the union. It happened to me when I turned 18. I was so proud to film in California. I'd shot in Georgia over and over, and I became a union member and was really proud. At that point, you are limiting your auditions, but they are the big auditions and the ones that you really, trying to say, this is my career. I'm a professional. This is what I do. So that to me is a SAG actor has truly committed to that. Let's do 15 more questions. We'll go to 11:30, you guys. I appreciate you being a part of this so much. This has meant a lot. And let's keep rocking for now.
How should an actor dress for headshots and audition tapes? How presentable should an actor look?
Yeah.
That's from Michael Bautista.
Great. I mean, the answer is, what is your role? You should dress your role. The big one that I see is I cast a commercial for a woman, a struggling South Carolina mom. The mom had her kids in the back. She's in her car, okay? And she had her bills, and she's supposed to pull up to a red light, have a second. Her kids are arguing. I can always tell who practices in their car because if they do, they'll use the rearview mirror. You don't look like this like your kids in the car. Guys, no. You've seen your kids a million times. You use the mirror and go, guys, whatever it is. She reaches over and looks at her bills and these things. I'm sorry. What was the question? I'm losing my place. Sorry.
The question was,
my bad.
How should I dress?
The moms in that commercial, the actresses, they had their makeup great. They had their shirts nice. Their hair was good. This was supposed to be a struggling mom. And I watched all these actresses from here that just looked fantastic on camera. And I'm like, just get out of bed and dress the role because you're too busy of a person to look great today. And that fits the role. So you need to make sure what you're doing fits the role. And it will be very clear. Don't buy things for auditions. Never buy anything for an audition.
I'd just like to address Mickey Pollock. There are some people who are answering your question about changing your profile pic in the chat. They're giving you good advice. So just check out their answers, or YouTube will help you.
Wow.
Sorry, that's a technical question.
Okay.
Glenda Young, do you foresee in-person auditions in the near future?
Yes, Glenda, and I certainly miss you. I've seen your smile for a long time, and I do, but you have to ask what directors want, and directors like to be on their couch at home. And they trust, so callbacks, I don't know. Yes, some, if they're local, then sure, they can drive over and we can do a callback. But if a director can be on their couch in Los Angeles instead of flying to Atlanta 5 days before their shoot, they're saving a ton of money, a ton of time. The director could probably do 2 projects that day because they're on their couch. So there's huge advantages. So we must find the advantages to that. Now, I do look forward to having you in person again because I'm going to, right? It just has to be a little bit safer. And I have a newborn right now, as many of you know. Woo! So I'm trying not to be around any of you guys until at least a couple more months. And he's amazing. And I really miss you guys, Linda. So yeah, it's going to come back in person, but it's not going to be the same ever.
Joseph A. Formato, will some talent agencies only see you through acting coaches?
No. With some talent agencies, if you're having trouble finding an agent, you guys need to go do showcases. You need to be in classes. You need to do community theater. Again, create your own content, be in a film festival, all these things. That is how you get to be noticed. A casting director or an agent will be in the audience at some point, will come up to you and say, you are very good at what you do. What is your name? And then you will have an agent. You can try submitting to agents, right? Make sure you have a couple headshots. You don't need to send them 9 pictures or pay for 9 pictures. I can see 2 pictures and know that you're an actor, okay? Commercial and dramatic, which we talked about.
I'm going to paraphrase a question a few people have asked in different ways. Are there any acting schools in Atlanta that you know that you recommend, or anywhere else?
There are so many great acting schools here in Atlanta and in Georgia. And the way to find yours, call them, email them, whatever it is these days. Ask them if they allow auditing. Auditing is a very powerful thing because you get to watch a class. You don't pay for it, but you get to see how that teacher teaches. I know now that things are digital and remote now, we're not auditing as much. Our teachers aren't allowing auditing as much, but find a class online, do research. That's the best way to do it. If I typed in top 10 acting classes here, I could easily find the top 20 and then see what people said about them. Call somebody, join it, see if you can watch or audit, but find different classes. Keep playing with different teachers. If you're studying with the same person, your mind isn't being jogged in a different way. So you must find different teachers. You will find one that connects with you. We all connect to each other differently. So for me to say this is who you should study with, I would never do that. What you need to do is find your way and keep studying with different people. Okay?
Mary Carmen Dole, this is Bella Dole. Should I always step back for a full body shot?
Yes, or you can even just tilt the camera down a little bit and step back. I'm in short, so I don't need to do that. But no, but seriously, you can just do that and tilt down. It doesn't have to be perfect. Whatever you can do to get it done in the room, okay? Listen, I promise you we're not worried about perfection. If you're an amazing actor, that is what's going to come through, and you won't care about all the things that are around you that need to be perfect. That is what stands out now with the best actors. They know that we're not shooting it today. This doesn't have to be perfect because we're not on set. So I might as well just be on set in our mind. And we're there. That's what the best actors do. They're not worried about the other stuff because they don't need to be. They're great.
Mike Stang, what is your favorite online casting platform?
I use casting networks a lot, but it's because I've used it since the beginning when they started a long time ago. And I have a personal relationship with them. They help me, and I'm always trying to give them feedback from you guys as well. You know, I know that these profiles have become more expensive, but I want you to realize something. You don't have to pay for gas. You don't have to print out 500 headshots that are still sitting in a drawer over there. You don't have to do those things anymore, but you do have cost to be a professional and to be listed on breakdown services or Actors Access and casting networks. I think are very, very important. I think those are the two main platforms. Rowan, is there anything else you're listed on right now?
I am on Actors. IMDb is huge for people to research you. So get a pro account if you're an actor.
Now I'll tell you, when he says people to research you, the only time commercial companies research you is they're trying to find out if you said anything negative about anything online
Social
ever.
Media.
You should never, as an actor, you have no stance. You could be the right wing guy one day or the left wing person the next day, but you have no stance. You're a public figure. So do not limit your market by showing an audience how you feel about things. I don't need to know that unless you're acting, and then it's cool that I think you feel about that because it's real. But no, be careful. I watch it all the time. I just cast a Disney project. The last thing they did was get everyone's information, parents too, and went through their social media. It was crazy. Nobody lost a gig, and I felt great, but it makes me sweat. I'm like, I've worked this hard. I've got you right here. The director loves you. They're going to approve you. Good.
Kevin Doan, hello, Brian. I have a monotone voice and lack vocal variety. What's the fastest way to fix this?
Oh, to me, your voice sounds interesting already. I have a monotone voice and lack vocal variety. You sound like Daria. Yeah, like there's people that have, and the weirdness of your voice or the difference. I mean, William Shatner has the weirdest cadence of all time, and he made that his thing. So you be you. Look at roles like Columbo or old things like that. They have the weirdest voices, right? So what? No one will ever be you.
Mary Ayers. When I Slate, I always say, "Hi, I'm Mary Ayers." Is it okay to say hi first? Makes me feel more real and more personal.
You can't plan it. So that means you're probably saying it you're saying it the same way every time, right? You are. There's people actors who come in and they'll slate the exact same way every time, and you can't do that. you need to be a little bit more flexible. Say hello sometimes, say Brian Beegle here, whatever you want, but don't say certain things like, what's up, casting team? Some people will say hello to the casting team or even to me personally and thank you. But the thing is, this ain't for me. I technically don't exist. My job is to go, there you are, right? So people go, hey, Brian, it's great to see you. Thanks for having me audition. I'm like, this is a slate. I will edit it out. Oh, even if I like you enough, I'll go, and you go, just your name. Perfect, right? So
Jeremy D'Souza, what advice can you give for an adult who has a family and works full-time shift work? Will I miss opportunities for auditions and callbacks, or is it usually flexible?
Okay, callbacks are a little more flexible now only because we're remote. So if somebody's on set, I'll say to my client or at work, I'll say, hey, they're going to get a break sometime in this window and I'm going to get them in. So as soon, and what I'll do is I'll have the agent give me a heads up. Hey, they're coming in the Zoom. And I'm like, great. I'll let them know I'm ready. So even if I have somebody on deck, I'll go, Mike, I need you to wait 7 minutes. I got somebody on set or at work and I'll bring them in as fast as I can. So the flexibility of auditions is greatly increased. It's awesome because I have people who don't miss callbacks now. But of course, you're going to need a full day off when you book a role. People will say, what time is this role? And I'm like, always expect a full day. Okay. That's what they expect from you. They don't want you to know that you can be there at 10:30. They need to know you're available for a full day. So you got to find a job if you want to be an actor that really allows you that bit of freedom. I'm not saying quit your job. Okay. Now's not the time to be quitting anything. But if that means acting on the weekends or listing your family available. Y'all, I cast a ton of real families now, ethnically diverse families. It's awesome because all these families who have just never been options before, all of a sudden I'm casting all these real families. It happened because of COVID. They didn't want to put fake families together. But that means you guys have a lot of opportunities. So you could also list your family as well. When I do a theme park casting or something like that, we see the Clark Griswold effect where we have the whole family driving to the theme park. There's the rearview mirror again. Let's quit doing that. You know what I mean? So yeah, list your whole family if they think it would be fun, especially because if you book something and it pays $2,000 a person, you got a family of 5, that's 10 grand. Okay. And a lot of times you don't need acting experience. I just cast Can-Am and the McKighton family booked that thing. And the thing is, they're actors, sure, but they didn't need acting experience to drive four-wheelers. They were four-wheeler riders, and that's what they did. And they booked it, and they had a blast driving four-wheelers.
I think this person's name is Gio. LA, New York, or Atlanta? Which city's the best for an actor?
Woo, that's a tough question. Everybody's waiting for the answer on that. They're all fantastic markets. Atlanta is very different because a lot of people are moving here now because it's a wonderful, we have a lot of space here, right? So people move here and they're excited about the prices and the living conditions, right? Because it's easier here, I think, than Los Angeles and New York. I could be wrong. It depends on who you are. But in Atlanta, I think we slowed down a little bit. The other big thing is that here we have now the finest movie studios, the finest producers. Every time somebody said Atlanta doesn't have this over the last 10 years, the crew moved here, the actors moved here, the studios went like this. So it's incredible. The infrastructure here and the fact that we're doing Marvel and Star Wars and all these things here, to watch it go from we're in the 80s where if I had one audition a month to where it is now, where people can make their dreams come true here. And that's what I see a lot. An actor, I can tell in 1 second that they moved from Los Angeles and humbled themselves to come to Atlanta. And I saw that in the comments here. I said saw somebody move from LA into Atlanta. Here, make yourself part of the community. There's great things you could do. All those things I talked about at film festivals, there's one going on right now. There's so many fun things you can do to immerse yourself. One thing that I did to make acting and all of this more fun for all of us, a few years ago, I started the Georgia Entertainment Sports League. We played kickball today and we won 10-0, but it was a bunch of actors playing kickball. We do paintball, we do skiing, we've done all kinds of things. And the reason I started that, and it has thousands of members on Facebook, but the reason I started that is we get together and no one cares about the fact that we're trying to do something. We're a bunch of people with like-minded interests hanging out, and it feels good. Also, some of those people have become assistants at casting directors. Some of those people have gotten jobs because they knew producers. Build your network. You are not on an island. If you're in LA and New York, the same thing. You build your community and you will be a part of it. I had a hard time in Los Angeles because, again, I got there, I got 5 different jobs to try to make it, and I tried to make it as an actor. Instead of being in LA, loving where I was, I even worked at the Rose Bowl flea market, one of the neatest flea markets in the world. And I just should have taken more time to go, I've already made it. This is awesome. And then bookings will come.
Justin asks, is it a bad thing for an actor to have acne or acne scars?
No, but if you can treat that, then do it. You guys, we all have flaws. No one is perfect. There's going to be a role for you that requires that. Okay, I just cast an acne spot where they actually, if the kids didn't have acne, they said it's okay, we'd add it. So it's interesting. The kids that they booked, most of them had acne. So, and you may be an adult, I don't know. But so you need to, if something bothers you, so if it's something that you feel overweight or you don't like your acne or these things, then attack it, meaning you're going to get in better shape or do whatever, or embrace it. The way it works a lot of times is people have messed up teeth and they're like, Brian, I don't know. And I'm like, man, I like your teeth. Nobody else is you. So you be you. And they'll go, right? And I'm like, yeah. But the thing is, you're different. The differences you have are what make you different. It is a power, right? We're not disabled. We're special ability. If that's how you see yourself, it's much better to be special ability than to be, okay, this works against me. No, you'll see. Make it your
own. Kevin Williams asks, is it a good idea to apply to roles that are outside the age range the casting director is looking for?
Sure. Well, I don't think so. Look, I mean, if you see something, you can apply for it, and it says 20s, and you're 43, you're probably not playing 29 anymore, okay? You need to accept realities, all right? And you probably can't tell yourself how old you look. Why don't you go to 5 other people, give them a picture, and ask them how old that person looks in the picture? Maybe they don't even know you. Say, how old is this person, right? Because a lot of times actors have a hard time letting go of age ranges. I'll look at somebody's age range, and they'll say 28 to 55. And I'm like, sure, we can age you, but be realistic in your age range. You must do that. If your agent submits you and you feel like you're too old or too young, though, do not turn down the audition. You're what? Wild card. That's right. You're the wild card. That means the agent pushed you. The casting director may have asked for you. Never judge why you got the audition. If you've got that audition, it is yours.
Mike Stang. Rowan, how do you say hello in Arabic? So there's a couple ways to do it. Marhaba, or ahlan, or salamu, or if it's someone you really love, habibi. All right, cool. Thanks, Lip. Okay. Darian Felton. Doesn't it hurt a male actor if they get an audition and it's a quick turnaround but don't have a haircut? Also, what does it mean when you're constantly auditioning but not booking? Double whammy.
I wouldn't look at it, am I booking? I would say, am I getting callbacks? Am I getting closer with holds? But mainly I would say, did I believe myself today? And did I take the direction? So if you're not getting live direction, you get 2 takes to do. Did I do 2 meaningful takes? That is what matters. Not am I booking and how many, the numbers, again, it's the job interview you're most likely not going to get. So you have to make it meaningful for yourself. All right.
Stephen Levins, I'm white and I speak Spanish and often get asked to submit for characters that are clearly intended to be Latino. I always submit, though. It feels a little awkward.
You should. There's an actress here who actually fights to show that Hispanics are not all dark brown. And it's kind of neat because y'all, just like anybody, you have many shades of you. So yes, you should be submitting. And yes.
What if he's a white person who's not Hispanic who's being asked for a Latino?
Thank you. You must speak awesome Spanish. A lot of times I'll go, you speak Spanish? And they'll go, sí. And I'm like, you speak a few words, but you must be very, very good at Spanish or whatever language it is you say you're going to do. You must be fluent. If I ever ask, and this happens all the time, it's a great question, must be fluent in Spanish. People will learn the lines, but as soon as it becomes a conversation, they have no idea what's happening. And I'm like, well, first of all, every scene is a conversation, even if one person is talking. Okay, so you still have to mean your conversation and why it's happening. And second of all, yeah, if you don't know what you're saying, then you're in trouble. Okay.
Mary Carmen Dole, what about sending a thank you message to producers and casting directors after an in-person audition? Can I do it on social media?
No, I think if you book a role though, or when your commercial comes out, it's actually neat to go, hey, and then write the casting director. Okay. I think it's okay. Somebody will go, Brian, we had such a nice time on set. Here's a picture. And I'm like, oh, that is nice. It really, people used to send me cards all the time and I loved it. In fact, I've kept every card that was ever written to me and I have them in boxes and I expect to go through them later because I can and I remember them and I remember you. So it is nice to get those, but you shouldn't say, thanks for the audition. Hope you're doing great. Here's my picture. Look, I already know what you look like and you don't need to push those things. Okay. Don't make casting directors or directors do more. Never make us work more. So I think that's a good question. Say, does this make the casting director work more? Do they need to know this question? If you're not sure about the question that you're about to ask a casting director, read it again. If it doesn't answer itself, ask. But a lot of times that's one big thing is actors make casting directors work more by asking questions.
Sue Tice, I apologize if that's not correct. What would the director think of when they asked for a Caucasian woman and I'm an Asian submitted for the role? I think this is similar to an earlier question.
Yeah, it is. And just because the specs, like on Rowan's script tonight, it says woman. That's the first thing it says, woman on there. And that's not what I had. It doesn't matter. So even if you don't match those, if that's the role they picked you for, now if you're a 40-year-old woman and it says 8-year-old boy, check with your agent to see if that's the right role. But if it's anywhere in the ballpark close of what this should be, nail the role. If you're different, you're different. It's a weapon. I promise you.
Debbie Kimsey asks, legal tips to calm nerves for an audition. Just saying. Any tips to calm nerves for an audition?
Yeah, Debbie, realize that this is make-believe. It's not the dentist. It's not a test. When you get your audition, you have actually already earned the right to enjoy yourself. You have nothing left to prove. Your audition should be the culmination of your work, not booking. That means your audition is joy. So Debbie, I know you. And when you let go of how you think it needs to go, that's when you'll have awesome auditions. And I've seen you do it. So Debbie, enjoy the fact when you get those moments. You have nothing to prove. It's your imagination. If you want to prove something, prove it to yourself, which is, did I believe myself? And I promise you it's achievable. I made Rowan break his own heart and he believed himself for sure. If he can do that, we can feign that we like a sandwich.
The Camille Lachey, do CDs look at social media at all for kids specifically? I think so. It's usually the client that looks at the social media. Right?
That's a great question. Some parents want to manage their kids' accounts, and they say, we need to have a certain amount of following and need to have these things, which can be true if your kid is already like a YouTube superstar or a dancer or whatever it is that has a following, fine. If not, parents, you don't need to do that. You don't need to manage your kids' pages. Directors do not care. You want to know why? Directors will pick the best talent for the role. That is their job. Somebody has 36,000 followers and is nowhere near the actor or is not the actor that the person. Who do you think the director is going to pick? a better actor. That is what matters most. It's really social media I see working against people because they vented or just anything, and that's crazy. But parents, yeah, I see you're trying to make your kids' online profiles and manage them. Directors and casting directors never look at this stuff. We're busy. We have many other things to do. So please, you don't have to do that. Parents, moms, you need to try harder. Remember, it's not a pageant. Don't make your kids memorize stuff. Have fun with their auditions. Sit back when a director's talking, parents. That doesn't mean go to the other side of the camera and say what the director is saying. Billy, are you listening? We know that you're doing that because the child will look right at you while the director's talking. So instead of them looking at the director, they're looking at you, and I'll go, hey, Mom, would you mind just going over to the side where your child can't see you? And you'll go, sorry. I go, no, it's totally okay. Because you used to go and let your child go into a room with me, and then all your hopes and dreams, and the door is closed, and then you wonder how it went, and he comes back out. That's a whole lot of letting go. You guys, parents, you still need to let go, but I also need you as an assistant. Meaning, if I go, Mom, would you mind bringing the camera up or doing this? That is when you have a job. Other than that, let your child be a leader. You do not need to make them do things. This acting career of theirs will be brief, and it won't be about fun. If you let your child imagine and have fun and be wrong and have their hair be messed up, I promise you it can keep going and going and going, and then you'll enjoy watching them and you won't try so hard.
Eric Abraham, what's the best way to handle a cigarette in an audition?
If I don't think they smoke real cigarettes in auditions, but even if do they? I mean, on set.
On set, they're
No.
usually herbal.
Yeah. So look.
Look,
If you're a non-smoker, then I think you can practice with a pencil in your hand or something. But it's really interesting. I would practice with a prop, but definitely don't smoke in any audition ever.
Corey Capital K. Does being in commercials damage your opportunity to be cast for films? Damage meaning typecast or overexposed?
Oh, wow. Wouldn't you like to be Progressive from Flo? I mean, Flo from Progressive. I got that, but now you know I'm tired. Flo from Progressive, she will probably never be in another movie or TV show again because anytime you see her, unless she changes her appearance, she's going to be Flo from Progressive, right? How many millions of dollars has she made? So would that be okay with you if you got to play the guy who's mayhem in the commercial and that's who you are? Yes, the answer is yes. Rowan's over there going, wish I was mayhem.
I'd be Jake from State Farm.
Correct. I definitely, if you're because that's fun. Also, it's the goal of an actor. You want to go places and people will go, that's Jake from State Farm, right? So it doesn't matter what you're going to be in. Yeah.
Plus, to add to the Flo thing, she booked a series regular on a TV show after those commercials. Probably helped to be in those commercials. So.
Oh, Flo did?
Yeah, she was on a TV show here in town. She was on a TV
You want to know why she booked
here
that?
in the States, I mean.
The client was like, oh, she's so recognizable. And the director was like, she's awesome. I've seen her do all these commercials as different characters. She can do this role. And they went, okay. The director went, it's my choice.
Thomas, I'm sorry, were you done?
No.
Thomas Morabito. Today I had an audition. I did the scene as instructed, but submitted 3 different energy levels. Will the CD view all 3 takes? Or is that not good?
Don't do more than you have to. You should settle on, if they ask for 1 take, you give them 1 take that feels like what the director's and writer's vision would be. If they ask for 2 takes, you can do it. Never do more takes than they ask for. You didn't make a mistake. Listen, you guys, all of this are learning blocks in your career. You can either make mistakes and feel bad about them in your career, or you can go, oh, I learned from that, and then use them as weapons later. We have flaws. Either attack your weaknesses, right? Or love your teeth. Whatever it is, but you must embrace these things, okay?
Carlos Torres, who had the question earlier about the accent, just wanted you to know he is an American now, but originally from Venezuela.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Shannon Burns. I'm in Chicago. I submit myself to tons of student films and other projects every day, but worry that being a redhead limits who wants to cast me a bit. Limits who wants to cast me. A bit goofy, I know.
No, it's okay. I mean, you can change your hair color. Shoot, I bet you can. Change it to blonde. See what happens. I bet you still have the same effect on, it's not going to change who you are. So it's a funny question, but if you ever wondered what it was like to feel to change your hair, then do it. Like, you can't pigeonhole yourself into one thing and start to question if that's good enough. No, have fun with whatever you want to be. That's part of being an actor. But listen, I have never said this person has red hair, they're not right for it, ever.
No. And that's what I was going to say is I love your message of, if you hate it about yourself and you can change it, go for it. But if it's something other people are criticizing, I love, like, who cares? Like, lean into it. Be you. You are great how you are. Stephen Levins, the problem with working in theater is the amount of time I have to book out. Excuse me. Is the amount of time I have to book out because of scheduling commitments. Thoughts? Question mark.
Thoughts? Oh, like for me?
Yeah, that's
about
the
what?
question is.
No,
I guess
theater
like,
actors are incredibly dedicated with their time, and that's certainly, you have to have a job that's going to allow you to do that. Okay, so yeah, it also books you out from other things as well. But if you love theater, it's just how you are. You guys know when you're on the stage, there's nothing else like being on a stage.
Tommy Cha, what are some tips to getting an agent? I think you mentioned that earlier, workshops and
classes. Yeah, don't waste money on reels and headshots yet. I think you really need to work on your craft. Once you feel like you're really good at being who you are and taking direction and you can do those things, then you get some headshots done, okay? And then you can start submitting them to agents. If you're having a hard time getting front, and I know people are like, well, I've been sending them. Well, agents haven't been signing a lot of people recently because work has been fluctuating and some agents are trying to make it. Look, the game is changing, okay? But you need to be submitting and then you need to be seen. How do you get seen? Obviously, go out and immerse yourself in the community. No matter where you are, do plays, do all kinds of things, because if you've seen the movie Waiting for Guffman, sometimes a casting director shows up, all right? Even though he's never, ever really there in the movie, it's still funny, all right?
Christopher and Marla Minavio Cobb. Hey, Cobb. Why don't you go back? This is fun. Why don't you go back to acting along with casting?
Oh, wow.
That's
yeah, because, I love directing. I really do. And I know actors now. I know how to connect with you. So, sure, I love to perform. And it's funny because I've been performing for you all night. Not really. I've actually just been trying to share with you what I mean. But for me, watching you guys do it is awesome. If I was to ever do any kind of performance again, it would be in a cover band. I used to sing in a cover band. If you look up Extra Medium, XTRA Medium on YouTube, Forgot About Dre, you'll see me rapping, okay? Live at a bar in 2008. It was a good time.
Okay, I think we can get to our last 3 questions, maybe?
Yeah.
Sound good?
Yep.
All right, let's do it. I'm Brandy Wine. How do you feel about buttons at the end of your slate? For example, I can't wait to work with you.
And people say, Brandy. All right, sorry. Buttons at the end of the slate. You don't need a button. So you don't need to go, hi, I'm Brian Beegle, 5'8". See you next time. Just keep it. Don't do anything extra. You guys, it's because we have to watch 500 things and 500 tapes. And those extra moments usually aren't needed. They just make us watch a little bit longer. Keep things super simple. If you love doing split screen slates, do it. But I promise you, it doesn't do anything for the director. I always defer to what directors want. That's what we do. We do what they want. If we get it right, we tell you, and then you interpret it, and we send it. If we're wrong, then we have to change the whole game. Okay?
Sorry. It jumped again on me.
It's all right. Maybe I can find one.
Maybe you.
Probably not. You guys, I have really enjoyed this. To connect with you and to read your emails and write you back and for you to be a part of this. I think we're going to get over 1,000 donations for Ukraine. So let's all just take a second and remember why we did this tonight. I'm very proud to be a part and to help. So thank you as well. Should we do one last question?
One last question. All right, here we go. Sharon Spear. If we know that a CD did not look at our WeTransfer link and the link expired, should we email the CD or just move on?
Yes, you should email the casting director or your agent because it's a mistake. I have made that mistake because sometimes I get inundated with retransfers and I can't keep up. I'm using a different system now, so hopefully that won't happen anymore. But I'll say to you, we make mistakes too. No one is perfect. So that's one where an actor might write, and if it's past the deadline, don't sit there and wait for it to be downloaded. But if it passes the deadline of when it's due and it's not downloaded, then you can just say, hey, just making sure. All right. I don't think we'll hold that against you because it's our job at that point to download your audition. And I have missed some in the past, and I will immediately apologize to that actor because it is your work and your craft. And now a fear, will the casting director download my audition? 99% of the time it will. You may be asking because I did that to you, and I hope not, Sharon. Okay.
Can we take one more question?
Yes,
Just
of
one
course.
More. Just because I've heard this a lot myself in tapings, and it'd be great to hear your thoughts on it. Does taking a class from a casting director generally increase your chances on booking projects by that casting director?
Well, if you're a really good actor and you take my class, then I'm probably going to note that you're a really good actor. So yes, of course that would help. But I think people take classes expecting to get exposure from a casting director. I think you need to take classes because you want to learn and get better at your craft. If the casting director is an amazing teacher and can connect with you, then sure, take the class. But don't expect anything out of it. In fact, drop all of that out. You want to know when something happens? When it happens is when you stop trying to do it. Same with lines. The second you actually do something else and pour 2 cups of water, you'll say your lines because you're not trying to do them anymore. There's so many tricks to stop trying. But yeah, casting directors will find you when you're ready. So you guys hone your craft. Get really good at what you do. Love your journey. Get seen in some things. And a casting director or an agent will find you.
So it sounds like what you're saying is what matters is whether or not you are a talent, whether or not you've studied enough to master your craft. That's the thing that gets you booked more than anything. It's not the class. It's being good at what you do.
Yeah, and so sure, it can be good to be seen, but yes, talent matters in the end to directors the most. Directors can say, I can do anything with this person. It doesn't matter where we are. That is what you must achieve is trust from directors. And it's different now, right? You have to be a passive listener. You can't be checking yourself and doing all these things. You have to enjoy the fact that you're not going to know how your next take is going to go. These are how you have great auditions. And then when you do, you let it all go because the joy of being an actor is not from booking. It's because you just pretended in your mind and you might get paid for it, right? Maybe, but you have to drop that away. You guys, I've really appreciated this tonight.
We still have 161 people, and
yeah,
this is crazy.
This effort has been awesome. So, what I'll say in the end is this is not a time to celebrate. This is a time to please, if you can, start your own movement for Ukraine. Go do something that you can do. A Ukrainian friend of mine said to me, Brian, please use your voice. She said, if I share this, 5 people will write. If you share this, 5,000 will. Well, you guys have really gone above and beyond tonight, and we're all in this together. Ukraine is on the forefront of fighting for freedom, and if you can start your own movement or do something for them, that would be incredible. What I will promise to the country of Ukraine is when you achieve victory and when this is over, I look forward to coming to Ukraine when you're ready for us to be there to help you rebuild and to teach the world's biggest in-person acting class right there from Kyiv. Okay? So thank you very, very much for being here. Rowan, come on in. Rowan, one more time, everybody.
Hi, everyone.
Rowan, anything to add?
Yeah, I'm going to throw one more thing. I have yet to donate. I'm about to do it, and I will make a deal with everyone who's still in the chat. If 10 people throw in $10 each in the chat, tell me you're doing it right now, I will match you with $100 of my own. So go for it. I'm watching the chat. I know there's 10 of you out there right now that are watching that are willing to do this. Honestly, I hope you do. If you don't, I'll still donate $100. But come on, Matt, let me match you, please.
You guys, I hope you have a wonderful evening, morning, day, wherever you are in the world. And please go and push and help them in this fight for their freedom. All right. Thank you very, very much and have a great night. I really enjoyed it. And thank you guys.